was signed, it was nearly derailed. The Israelis targeted Hezbollah with strikes in the Lebanese capital of Beirut. Iranian officials immediately vowed to respond with missile fire toward Israel. A diplomat with knowledge of the situation told Fox News that Qatari mediators stayed in Tehran conducting intensive negotiations coordinated with the United States. Vice President Vance described to Fox News what those final moments were like before the agreement was reached. Could you take us behind the scenes of what that moment was like leading up to this deal actually being signed?
After the Israelis struck Beirut, we were very worried, and we saw a lot of evidence that the Iranians were going to launch a large number of missiles at the Israelis. With our communication with them over the course of getting to this signed peace deal, they assured us that they were not going to respond to the Israelis, and they were going to sign this agreement and get to peace. Now, of course, you always have to verify these things, Trey, and we know that there are a lot of people in the Middle East who do not want to make this deal happen.
I spoke with President Trump before the agreement was reached, and he was optimistic about what this deal means for the region. We also know the president got directly involved in ensuring that the Iranians didn't launch missiles at Israel before the agreement was finalized. Guys?
So what do you think the vice president was referring to? Is there people in the Middle East that don't want this agreement? Who doesn't want this agreement in the Middle East? Is that a veiled shot at Israel?
Certainly there are many Israeli officials who are not happy with the deal. When you talk privately with intelligence officials here in Israel, they indicate they do want an agreement, but they want the right agreement. And the Trump administration has tried to tell the Israelis, look, this is ultimately going to ensure that the Iranians never have a path to a nuclear weapon. And again, what are we looking at here when we step back? We're looking at an agreement that is going to, on Friday, immediately open the Strait of Hormuz. And it's going to also enter into a 60-day detailed negotiating period to address these nuclear issues with the Iranian regime. They are committing to not having a nuclear weapon, but ultimately the International Atomic Energy Agency and others are going to be part of the interworking here in Iran on the ground to ensure that this highly enriched material is removed. And when I spoke with the president yesterday, he talked about how difficult it's going to be to get what he refers to as the nuclear dust that is currently buried deep underground. He says the Iranians told the United States only the U.S. and China actually have the equipment and ability to do so. But when we look at this agreement, the Iranians didn't get what they wanted. They wanted U.S. forces to leave the Middle East completely and abandon all bases in the region. And that's not going to happen as part of this deal. We know that U.S. forces are going to remain at the 5th Fleet location in Bahrain for the U.S. Navy. Also, the Al Udeid base outside of the Qatari capital of Doha. There are thousands of U.S. forces there. And so even if there is an eventual drawdown of the U.S. military in the Middle East, there will still be thousands of forces here prepared if the president has to use military action in the future. But remember, as part of this deal, there is this economic leverage on the Iranian regime. They're not going to get the sanctions relief that they so desperately want and need if the United States doesn't get everything they want out of these detailed negotiations. And so they're going to have to keep the Strait of Hormuz open and move forward with the commitments that they made at the negotiating table as it relates to their nuclear program. Guys?
We see oil prices from a high of $126 a barrel down to about $80 a barrel today. That's a lot of progress. But it also, Gail, fundamentally extends a hand to Iran and says, look, if you guys are willing to honor your obligations, if you're willing to allow real inspections of your nuclear program, then we will welcome you back into the world economy. I think what the president of the United States wants to do is turn over a leaf of 47 years of a failed relationship between the United States and Iran, but that requires the Iranians to actually honor it their end of the bargain. So when people say that billions of dollars of assets will be released, that's not true. What is true is that Iran will have a much better and much more prosperous future if they meet the obligations they make in this agreement. We'll, of course, see. That's one of the things we're going to work out in the technical talks that will follow the official signing on Friday.
Mr. Vice President, it's Ed O'Keefe, and we're so glad you're here in part because, as Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said yesterday, you are the architect of this deal. So let's walk through some of this. The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, and that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they honor their end of the obligation. I think that one of the things you're going to see, Ed, and people have to be skeptical of this, is that the hardliners in the Iranian system will overemphasize the benefits that Iran gets while underemphasizing all the things that they have to concede and all the things they have to provide in order to get these benefits. So we absolutely are open to the Gulf Coast countries investing in the reconstruction of Iran, but only if Iran ends their nuclear program, ends their enriched stockpile of material, and is really open to an inspections and enforcement regime that gives the American people confidence they're never going to have a nuclear weapon. So I think the dance you're going to see, Ed, which is going to be interesting, is the Iranian media, especially the hardline media, they're going to talk a lot about what they get without talking about what they give. It's important for all of us to correct that record.
Well,
some 16,000 French police and troops have been deployed. Over the weekend, we saw violent protests here in Geneva, a car set on fire. I actually myself saw a mattress that was burned black. The president says there will be this signing here in Geneva. Vice President J.D. Vance, though, announced this morning that it's already been signed digitally. That happened on Sunday, so this might be more of a ceremonial signing on Friday if it indeed happens. I believe the White House working on logistics right now.
Hey,
Dana,
all right,
Bill?
Aisha, thank you. Hang with us.
Good afternoon. Excuse me. Good afternoon, everybody. These people who try to attack President Trump and say all kinds of crazy things can't keep up with this guy. Now, understand the UFC fight, we're going to talk about that in a little while, but he stayed till the very, very end. It was almost 1 o'clock in the morning when he and Melania went back into the White House. 1 o'clock. Then at 3 o'clock, he got on a plane to fly to France. And that was him getting off the Air Force One and going into the G7. We're going to talk about that as well. So this guy who's 80 years old yesterday stayed at a magnificent event to the very end, and then went in, I don't know, freshened up, got something to eat, and then flew across the world over to France for the G7. And these people are saying they don't think that this guy's got it. You're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. Now, already the propaganda machine is just going crazy. You were going to hear so many of the negative Nellies talk about this $300 billion price tag going to Iran. Let's go ahead right now, because I even saw some people here, not here, but on my X feed who may be here, who were saying the same thing. And I'm like, stop, back up. Listen to what he just said. Listen to what J.D. Vance just said. If you need to rewind it, go ahead, I'll wait. But people just aren't listening, or they're listening to the wrong people, and they're allowing themselves to be sucked in with propaganda. And it's simply amazing. So if you were listening right there, you heard what he said. The guy said, true or false, the guy from CBS News, you're going to be giving Iran $300 billion. And what he said was the Gulf nations could invest if Iran does what they're supposed to do. Let's talk about the Gulf nation. The Gulf Cooperation Council, also known as the GCC, is Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. Let me just check here again. No, I don't see the United States in there. This is supposed, the way it's supposed to read, we're going to talk about that as well. The way it's supposed to be is that the Gulf nations, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE will be reinvesting into Iran to rebuild it. which is the same thing people have done in destinations after the wars have ended for quite some time. Open your history book, look at Japan. Open your history book, look at Vietnam. This isn't out of the ordinary, but they thought it was a gotcha. Oh, President Trump he's sold out. And I'm thinking, don't you friggin' people listen on X? And if you, at this point, on June 15th, 2026, if you don't realize that they are waging an amazing propaganda campaign all over social media, it's everywhere. If you don't realize it right now, you're going to get sucked into it. And I'm watching in real time as people are asking me questions, and I'm like, did you not listen? Are you not paying attention? Do you know what the Gulf nations are? Do you know what the GCC is and that commission? All of this information is readily available to you. You just have to, A, know where to look, and then B, go look it up. Don't take people's, including mine, don't take people's opinion or their post. You can easily go look up the Gulf Cooperative Nations thing that they have with all those area Arab countries, and you'll see who they are. A lot of people with a lot of big money. You know, we always talked and kidded about MAGA Gaza. Well, they're thinking the same thing. If we can get in there and turn this place around, if Iran does what they're supposed to, it spreads prosperity. Prosperity, in essence, should spread peace. That's the whole idea behind it, instead of people freaking out. That and more people profit. I know there's a lot of people out there, when I talk about profit, they get all pissed off, but I'm sorry. I look at the data, and the data keeps telling me President Trump is crushing it, which we also told you on Friday. Watch what happens on Monday and Tuesday, and sure enough, bada bing, bada boom. Says Dow Jones jumps 500 points, hits new record after Trump signs Iranian deal memorandum. S&P up, NASDAQ up. You can see the crawl at the very top of your screen. Oil tumbles. Oil is almost at the same price that it was before the whole Iranian thing happened. I knew that was going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball. I just listened to what Trump said. I didn't let other people sway what I was thinking. He said it's going to just plummet as soon as we're done. And hey, okay. And what just happened? The credibility of what ends up happening. He's calling his shot like Babe Ruth. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. And then when it happens, people don't seem to understand. He told you, you don't need a crystal ball. I haven't seen somebody this transparent in the White House probably in my lifetime. Oh, if you want to be prosperous? Just listen to him. And so you've got so many doomsayers that are trying everything they possibly can do to get you off your game. You know, one of the things I saw today and was very interesting, it made me think, is all these talking heads, panicans, grifters, podcasters, who turn their back on President Trump over the last 60 to 90 days. How do they come back? How do they make their way back? They burned bridges. Yeah, there's enough crazy people who will probably still keep following the crazy people because they love conspiracy theories. They love hearing that stuff, and they get mired in it, and they just stay mired in it, and they never improve their lives. I don't have time for that. I hope you don't have time for it. I hope you look at things and say, what can I do to improve my life? Whether it be financially, mood, whatever it is. I just hope you look at things from a perspective and leave those panicking, grifting, crying idiots over here. You don't need that. You don't need it whatsoever. You can just check the what do you call it, the vital signs. You know, when you go to hospital, they check your pulse and blood pressure and stick the thing in your mouth and the thing on your finger to check, you know, your saturation. Just watch the vital signs. Just get up in the morning and look at oil. Dropping. Okay. Get up in the morning and look at gold, look at silver, look at the stock market. Well, Barry, I'm not in the stock market. That doesn't matter. If you're not in the stock market, you're still looking at vital signs. The vital signs will tell you, basically the health of the economy. Not necessarily that you're in it, but it will tell you the health. Like, for instance, I have it saved right here. This was, when I look there, and then I can click right there and see silver, and see silver's up 3% today. Then I can click gold, and you guys can do the same thing, and gold is up 2.4% today. What does that mean to you? How do you apply that data to your life is basically watching what Trump is doing. There was so much propaganda last night, which we're going to talk about. I mean, so much. We'll get into all that. But I want to show you this. This was J.D. Vance was on CNBC of all places this morning. He's all over the place. While President Trump is in France, J.D. Vance is out there. He's telling people about the deal. Oh, by the way, the deal that nobody has seen. So when somebody tells you, oh, this is what it says, or one of my sources have said this is what the deal is, they don't know. They're lying to you. They're lying to everybody. They don't know. And by the way, we don't know if it'll change by next Friday or this Friday. I know I saw something where Bibi Netanyahu says, I don't like it, and I'm not going to follow it. And if I feel like bombing Lebanon, I'm going to bomb Lebanon. So more than likely, this thing is going to be massaged even more. But it's a work in progress. This is what J.D. Vance had to say this morning.
The United States and Iran reaching a peace deal with the agreement set to be signed on Friday. Joining us right now to talk more about it is Vice President J.D. Vance. And Mr. Vice President, thank you for being with us this morning. I think there's still a lot of confusion about what exactly is in this deal. Can you lay out the terms for us?
First of all, good morning, everybody. Thanks for having us. So first of all, I think it's a great day for the American people because what this deal does fundamentally is two things. It immediately reopens the Straits of Hormuz. We're already seeing in the past 24 hours more traffic flow. You see oil prices coming down. But you also have the long-term commitment that Iran will never develop or procure a nuclear weapon. Those are two very big wins for the American people. I think the important thing to understand is that the agreement is fundamentally built around a two-step verification process. We say to the Iranians, you are welcome to have access to an unsanctioned economy. You're welcome to be reinvited into the world economy, but only if you honor the commitments that you make in this agreement. So that's the leverage point, and simultaneously...
Okay, so you got that. Yeah, we will help you be a strong participant in the world's economy. You can help build your country. You tell the mullahs and the crazies, no, you're not going to be getting any nuclear weapons, but we'd like to help you reinvigorate your country. But that choice is up to you. If you play games, we're looking at you. We're going to keep looking at you. We're going to find out if you try to do something stupid. But as long as you stay on, the up and up, you guys should be able to prosper as well. Nobody's telling Saudi Arabia, nobody's telling any of those countries over there they can't profit. And I think that's what some of the propaganda is designed. They think that Iran shouldn't be allowed to be a country. Actually, they do think that. They just were trying to egg Trump into destroying the entire country. And that's not what he's there for. They know what he's there for. That's why they're being terrified. So I'm going to give you one of my assumptions here. And I think it's a little bit more than an assumption. I think this entire thing about obliterating the deep state is we don't care what you do in your country. That's your country. Just, I need that nuclear stuff. I need that nuclear stuff because that nuclear stuff is now going to allow me to obliterate the deep state here. It may sound cold and callous, but I don't care how you people run your lives. I don't care what you do to goats. I don't care if you make women wear burqas. That's your country. I need that dust. And then what you do to rebuild your country and how you decide to run it, as long as you don't get a nuclear bomb or try to, we're good. You and I, we're good, okay? Just give me that stuff. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are completely freaking out, because at that point, all roads lead back to Obama. Now, personally, I know a lot of people feel that way as well, but I don't think Obama is the prize. I think Obama didn't strike me as the person who could coordinate this entire thing. He couldn't orchestrate it. He was a planted person as well to be in the White House so that they could do whatever they were going to do with the biolabs and the nuclear stuff and everything else. He was just there. But in any event, once we can confirm that that is ours, that we were the ones who gave it to him, then we're talking. Then we're talking deep state obliteration.
The enforcement mechanism we have over their nuclear program. And if you step back, the last point that I'd make about this is that we have affirmatively and comprehensively destroyed their nuclear program from what we've done over the last year and a half in the Trump administration. What this agreement does is say to the Iranians that you don't have access to the money to rebuild that nuclear program, but if you're willing to give up that program long term, if you're willing to accept the inspections and verification regime that's necessary to give us the confidence you're never going to have a nuclear weapon, then we want you to be a prosperous country and we will reinvite you into the community of nations. And that's fundamentally the two-step process, the choice the Iranians have to make. Do they want access to the world economy? If so, they're going to have to give up the long-term nuclear ambition.
It should be an easy choice. You want to be a part of the world economy and make buku bucks? Or you want to be idiots and try to build some sort of nuclear thing because you're pissed off at Israel all the time? It should be a no-brainer. And I mean, I understand their religion and their culture tells them to do this. Well, we don't care about anything about blowing up Israel. And so we're trying to talk sense into them. It's like, listen, stop your caveman stuff and put on a suit. And you put on a suit, you're going to find the rest of the world is going to be open to working with you. Should be an absolute no-brainer, except for these hardliners are friggin' insane. But I don't know if they're that insane or are the people in the deep state telling them, you've got to keep doing this. You cannot give up this nuclear dust. You cannot let him find out where this stuff came from. Is that why they've been such hardliners for so long?
Don't want access to the world economy and they don't give up that ambition, they're never going to have the resources to rebuild it from where it is today. So it's a big win for the American people. And I think the Iranians fundamentally have a good choice here in front of them, whether to be a normal country or whether to be a country that continues to pursue a nuclear weapon, which they now have no capacity to do.
Okay, sir, let me just make sure I understand this, though. This is 60 days that they will have to kind of discuss and debate the issues surrounding the nuclear question. But for now, they are saying that they will reopen the strait. The United States is saying it will take down its blockade at the same time, that there will be free passage, that no one will have to pay anything to go back and forth through this. The Iranians, I think, have suggested that this is just for the next 60 days. Do you get the sense that this is a more permanent situation where the strait will be reopened even beyond that 60-day period?
Well, our expectation is that the strait is going to be opened in a toll-free way for the long term, and that's the sort of thing that we're going to figure out in these technical negotiations. You know, there are a lot of very important details to figure out that we're actually going to sit at the table and discuss together and figure out a path forward on these details. For example, they've committed to destroy and dispose of their stockpile of highly enriched material. That's the highly enriched uranium that they accumulated over the Obama administration and over the Biden administration. And what we've said is, okay, let's talk about how exactly we're going to do that. They want access to an unsanctioned economy. We've talked about, okay, we're open to that, but that would require a long-term commitment to the inspection and verification regime that I just talked about. So
now right there, you see the chips that are on the table right now. You want this, we want that. Notice he specifically mentioned Obama and Biden. The stuff that you did with Obama, I almost said O'Biden, with Obama and Biden, that's what we need to look at. We can talk about all this other stuff, 60 days straight. We don't care. We want to see this stuff. And that's why the Democrats are completely losing their minds. That's why the propaganda machine is in full bore right now, because it comes down to that simple ideology. We want that dust. We want to verify, as he just said.
A lot of these details are going to be figured out during those 60-day talks. We feel quite confident that we're in a strong position here. Fundamentally, we have the leverage. We have the diplomatic, economic, and military leverage. But we also are extending an open hand to the Iranians and saying, if you guys negotiate in good faith and you make that long-term commitment not to develop nuclear weapons, then we are going to make sure that your country is successful. If, however, you refuse to meet us halfway, then we're going to continue to apply the pressure that we've seen build up economically in particular, and that's going to be bad for them, and fundamentally it's going to be bad for the region. So we hope they make the right choice. We feel pretty confident about where we are, and we're going to just sit down and talk with them and see where they're willing to concede, where they're willing to make concessions, and make some progress from there.
Who's going to be signing this agreement on Friday from the United States and from the Iranian side of things? Because there's been a lot of questions about who's in charge in Iran and whether, when we're talking to someone, whether they represent all of those parties.
Well, one of the interesting things about what's happened just over the last few months is that our relationship with Iran has fundamentally transformed. You hear the president talk about the fact that we're dealing with a totally different group of people. That's absolutely true. If you go back to the Obama administration, we never had the direct line. Really, over the past 47 years, we've never had this level of direct connection where the people at the highest levels of the United States government are talking to the people at the highest levels of the Iranian government.
As he's saying this, and he mentioned Obama again, are you getting the feeling that Obama, I mean, many of us thought that somebody was pulling Joe Biden's puppet strings, but is he conveying a message right now? Because right back to Obama. Was Obama the person that was basically running the marionette called Joe Biden, and he was the one controlling things? Because it's like Biden didn't do anything. They don't even hardly mention him. He mentioned him earlier, but for the most part, it's Obama, Obama, Obama. Biden was a placeholder for the third Obama term, it seems.
We expect the negotiating team from the Iranian side is going to be the Speaker of the House, Ghalibaf, and also the Foreign Minister, Arachi, along with a number of security officials and people who represent the different constituencies within their country. But we actually see, this is a very interesting thing about these negotiations, is you see people, both the hardliners but also the more political people, saying our relationship with the United States over the past 47 years has been a mistake. Let's turn over a new leaf. We're, of course, going to verify that they actually mean it, but if they're willing to turn over a new leaf, the President of the United States has said we want them to be a successful country, and that's what we're aiming to negotiate towards.
Mr. Vice President, it's Brian Sullivan. Thank you again for coming on the program. I want to follow up with that because I think it's incredibly important what you just said, that if Mohammad Ghalibaf, who is seen as a more hardliner, is at the table, that would be construed as an even better symbol, a better sign of where this negotiation may go. Would you agree with that getting somebody like a Mohammad Ghalibaf, the Speaker of the House, who is seen as more of a hardliner internally, would be viewed as the best possible outcome here, rather than one of the more moderates that might be seen as a little more pro-White House, and yet you still might have this division and factions inside of Iran?
Well, I think the best outcome is a good deal for the American people, which we have. Fundamentally, we're dealing with everybody in the Iranian system. You know, there's the IRGC, the sort of regime hardliners, the military side. There's the political leadership, and within the political leadership, you have people who are more hardline and less hardline. We expect to have a full spectrum of representatives at the negotiation on Friday. Again, we've been talking to these people, sometimes indirectly, but sometimes directly, and that's what's fundamentally changed under the president's leadership. We are now speaking directly to the Iranian system. We have some good relationships there. So this is going to be a successful negotiation because, you know, we're not passing messages through various back channels anymore. We're actually talking to them. And when you talk to them, you figure out what's real, what's fake, what are they serious about, what are they not serious about. And the thing I'd add to that is we fundamentally have all the cards here. We don't have to give the Iranians anything if they don't make the commitments that we want long-term on the nuclear program. And even if we just stopped here, what would be true? Their military is destroyed. the Straits of Hormuz are open, their nuclear program has been destroyed, and we have incredible economic leverage over them that we didn't have a year and a half ago. So we've got a lot of leverage here, but we also have the president saying to them, we're extending an open hand. If you guys want to meet us, if you guys want to change your relationship with the United States, we will change our relationship with Iran. That's the offer, and we're going to have to see whether they meet us there.
Mr. Vice President, what do you do about Israel? Both the right and the left in Israel has been not thrilled with this deal. They've called it a bad deal. Do you get them in line, and how do you handle them when it comes to Lebanon, because they're still there at the moment?
So what she's talking about is Bibi Netanyahu actually put out a video today. And in his video, he said that he's not going to abide by it. And he has actually said that if his words were, if I choose to bomb Lebanon, it's because I feel it's necessary. So one of the things I'm just wondering is, we're not talking like big countries here. How much bombing do you have to do in Lebanon to like make sure this stuff all goes away? But in any event, that's a sticking point that they're going to have to figure out before Friday, because at this point, Bibi is saying he is not going to abide by the deal.
Well, first of all, I think there are elements within Israel that like the deal quite a bit, and I also think there's been some misreporting about the deal. One of the interesting things about the Iranian state media is that sometimes you'll have hardline elements really aiming at a domestic audience, trying to sell the deal, and in some ways, honestly, misrepresent the deal. And then sometimes you'll see certain elements in the Israeli media pick that up and run with it. I think when people see this deal, we hope to release the text this week, they're going to realize that this is going to make the whole region safer. And this is another way in which this is a transformative agreement. If you go back to, for example, the Obama JCPOA, what did we see? The entire Gulf Coast Coalition hated that deal because they felt like it empowered Iran to be a bad actor. What is the Gulf Coast Coalition saying about President Trump's peace deal? That they love it because they see it as an opportunity to build and create a new Middle East, not just for the next few years, but for the next generation. So I think that new Middle East, certainly Israel is going to have a seat at the table. We think this is going to be great for everybody in the region, but most importantly, we think it's going to be great for the American people, and that's what we're aiming to do.
Vice President Vance, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time and the update on where things stand, and we'll be watching. Thank you.
All right, so I hope you feel a little bit more comfortable about that $300 billion figure that not everybody, so many people are throwing around out there. You now have some clarity directly from the vice president in regards to where that money is going, how it would go, what are the conditions that have to be met. And at the other side of the coin is we don't know what the final deal is going to be. So everybody who's speculating out there and trying to tell you that this is the deal, they don't know the deal as of yet. None of us do, but we'll find out soon enough. So after that, obviously you saw President Trump getting off of Air Force One in France. He's attending the G7.
Andrea, First Lady's talking? Yeah, she's here as well.
You're both here.
Right. President of Vance.
Welcome again. This is so beautiful.
Let's go there.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Cyril is from France. Did you watch the fight?
Yeah. Not direct, but I saw it this morning.
That was a great fight. It was a great evening at the White House.
It was very proud. Cyril.
Thank you.
Bienvenue au président. I will say a few words in French. Je souhaitais d'abord accueillir et souhaiter la bienvenue au au président Trump, et merci d'être là, un lendemain d'anniversaire et de célébration, et je remercie son équipe, les ministres, l'ambassadeur et l'équipe la plus proche d'être là à ses côtés. C'est important qu'on puisse d'abord avoir ce G7 au lendemain d'un accord essentiel qui a été scellé avec l'Iran, pour parler évidemment de nos grandes crises, l'Iran, l'Ukraine, nos guerres, leurs règlements, construire la paix et restaurer la prospérité, mais aussi voir les voies et moyens de coopérer entre nos économies. Et c'est le but du G7, pour améliorer la prospérité, les éléments de coopération dans les différents domaines. Puis nous aurons l'occasion aussi de célébrer à la française les 250 ans d'indépendance, la France ayant été aux côtés des États-Unis d'Amérique, à Versailles dans 2 jours. I wanted to say, to commend President Trump for celebration yesterday and to welcome President Trump and his ministers and his team for being here in Evian for the G7. I think yesterday was signed a very important agreement, a peace deal with Iran. And it's a very important one because first it will fix the nuclear issue. First it will fix the nuclear issue. And it's a very important matter for peace for the whole world. And it will reopen Hormuz. It will provide peace in Lebanon. And so we are ready to take our fair share of the burden and be part of the commitment of the international community in order to support this deal. And we will discuss about that together and with colleagues later on. But it's a very important step towards peace, but as well for the global economy. We will have the occasion to discuss about the war in Ukraine in order to re-engage together and negotiate a good and solid peace and sustainable peace. And President Zelensky will be with us as well tomorrow. And obviously we will have the occasion to bring this G7 to speak about a series of issues from rare earths, critical minerals, trade, etc., where we have to build convergence amongst the G7 members. And it will be the occasion for us to celebrate the 250th years of independence for the US. And Versailles is a good place because this is where the King and his Minister of Foreign Affairs at the time did support the US during years, but as well prepared what we called the Paris Treaty in 1783, which was the final point of this war. So it's a great honor and a great pleasure to have you, Mr. President, in Evian and Paris.
Thank you, thank you. So Emmanuel has been a special friend of mine. We've had a fantastic relationship. We've worked on many deals together. I'm very happy to say signed, the deal's all signed, and the strait is already partially opened. As you know, they're doing a little hunting for a couple of mines that they've already found, but it's essentially ships are starting to go out now. On Friday it'll be completely opened. We got along very well with Iran. It's a different set of leaders. As you know, the first set is gone, the second set is gone, and we found the third set to be very smart, strong, very smart, but we ended up making a deal. I felt badly that we had to go back on the attack for 2 nights, and I thought a third, but we made it before that happened. But I think a lot of great things are going to happen in the Middle East right now, and very importantly, the oil is plummeting down, and the stock market is shooting up like a rocket today, like record kind of numbers. And the oil has taken its biggest plunge, and we're into the low numbers, not quite back yet, Kevin, to the extent, but we're getting close to the numbers we were before it all started. And the main thing is that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. They fully agreed to that with strong policing powers, and they won't have a nuclear weapon, which is what it was all about, because they probably would have used it if they had it. So we had 2 big moments. When they terminated the JCPOA, that was the Obama deal, the Barack Hussein Obama deal. And when I terminated that, it was very important because it was a road to a nuclear weapon. It was a horrible deal for the United States. It was a deal where billions of dollars was given to Iran. It was a deal where $1.7 billion in cash was put on a Boeing Well, not a 757, I guess, right? But it was put on a big, beautiful Boeing 757. They needed a Boeing 747, to be honest with you, because there was a lot of cash. 1.7 billion was taken out of the banks and given to Iran. And on top of that, tens of billions of dollars was paid. So they tried to bribe them to make a deal, and that didn't work. It never works. And we've done a great job. And hopefully it's going to be a good relationship, and we're going to get along. And if we don't, we go back to where we started, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. The Iran deal that we made is going to bring a lot of success to the world, because the oil was really clogged up there for a while. He would call me on occasion and say, "Come on, please, let's go with the oil prices." But the oil is coming way down, so I'm very honored by it. I want to thank you for your help. You've always been a help, and it's an honor to be with you. We had a very good conversation yesterday with President Zelensky and President Putin, and I see maybe we can do something there. I really do. I think they're both open to it. So I'm going to, now that this is finished,
okay, so let's stop there for a second. Now that this is finished, now we're going to go talk to Zelensky and Putin. And I would also put, like, somewhere on that list, Cuba. If you're in Cuba right now, I know it's hot down here in South Florida, and they're a little bit more south than us. It's hot, and I'm sure they're starting to really sweat. This guy now has his attention to look elsewhere. What's next on his list? Well, Zelensky was the first person he mentioned. Coincided with him being in France. Zelensky posted this.
We offered Putin to meet anywhere where real decisions to end the war could be made. He does not want it. And we discussed with the US and France the possibility of a meeting with Russia around the G7 with all democratic nations represented. Putin does not want it. Yesterday, we discussed with President Trump that such a meeting could be organized in the US in a format where Putin would find it much harder to refuse, at least to President Trump. And we will see what comes of it. If Russia refuses this chance as well, additional pressure will be needed.
Okay, so in the midst of everything else going on yesterday, in the midst of this giant UFC event and his birthday and trying to get the Iranian thing done, he's on the phone with Zelensky trying to get the Russia-Ukraine war done. And somebody had put in the chat, because when they saw President Trump on the screen, they're like, where is he? Does this man ever sleep? I don't know. Maybe we got a vampire president. I don't know. I don't know how he does it. I was up until 1 o'clock watching the fights last night, which was amazing. We'll talk about. And then I slept in. Not him. He had to get on an airplane and head to France.
We'll be focusing on that. See if we can get that one done. 25,000 people a month are dying, mostly soldiers, and that shouldn't happen. But had two very good conversations yesterday. We'll be talking about it. And we had a really exciting, I think maybe one of the most incredible evenings in the history of the White House. We had an evening last night with the fighters, and I was very happy. I called last night, very late last night, to congratulate you, because in the heavyweight division, a French fighter won. I don't know, is that maybe more important than the World Cup? To some people it might be. To some people it might be. You have a good team in the World Cup. Very good team, but you have good fighters too. And you're a great country, and it's an honor to be with you. Thank you very much.
Hey, sir, are you going to try to attend the signing ceremony on Friday?
Well, it depends. JD's coming in for it. He was originally going to do it. I'll probably be gone by then. We're having dinner in a day and a half, right? We're going to be staying quite late. So I may be involved, I may not. But JD was coming in for that specifically.
Thank you.
Mr. President, when will the text of the MOU be released?
I think pretty soon. I would say I mean, I want it to be released because it's a very powerful document. It's not like the Obama document, which was just a terrible document. This is a very powerful document, and I want it to be released. So probably pretty soon. I would say sometime after Friday.
All right, that's important right there. That should tell you right there, nobody has a copy of this document. I've seen people outline what they say is in the document. Like, if he just said, we're not even releasing it till maybe Friday or a couple days after, whatever, then the people who are posting on X and Facebook and everywhere else that they have the terms of the deal, they're full of crap. Nobody right now. I mean, you really have to just, as you're scrolling and you see something, just look away. Nobody knows right now what's in that MOU, Memorandum of Understanding.
The strait opens completely. It's open now, but it opens completely. We'll have all the mines knocked out for the most part. We have a lot of lanes right now already.
Mr. President.
So I think sometime in the very near future, yeah.
Mr. President, does the deal involve any sanctions relief for Iran? When would that go into effect?
No, it doesn't. Well, they have to. It's really a behavioral thing. If they do what they're supposed to do, that starts taking effect.
Monsieur Macron, quel engagement êtes-vous prêt à prendre au nom de la France dans le détroit d'Ormuz? Vous avez parlé du porte-avions Charles de Gaulle. Mr. President, what do you expect from France and...
Well, I would love them to do that. I don't think we're going to need much help because we have an agreement where it's going to be open. And it's toll-free. We had a little argument on that. It's toll-free. So I don't think we're going to need much help. But I don't think it's a bad idea to have a ship or two up here from a few countries. It'd be a great country to do it because you never know what happens. But I think it's going to be open, and I think it's going to be free sailing. We do want to see if we can straighten out the Lebanon thing because it just seems to just never end. And that's a mini version of what we were doing, and it should not be tough. It should not be tough. So Hezbollah, we have to have a little talk with them.
La question qui était posée en français sur la contribution, nous sommes prêts à avoir dès demain des chasseurs qui sont sur place et qui peuvent aider aux missions d'observation et sous 48 heures des frégates qui peuvent évidemment se déployer et sous 2 à 3 jours le porte-avions avec les frégates qui l'accompagnent et l'ensemble du groupe. Évidemment tout ça suppose d'être souhaité et demandé par les États-Unis d'Amérique et l'Iran et Oman, c'est-à-dire les parties prenantes de l'accord et les deux parties, en particulier autour du détroit. Et nous avons agrégé avec les Britanniques une mission ad hoc où d'ores et déjà une vingtaine de pays ont donné leur contribution concrète et ce qu'ils étaient prêts à faire. Et nous sommes 4 à être présents dans la région. Donc voilà, c'est une offre, nous sommes à disposition, ça montre le soutien de la communauté internationale, notre volonté de réouvrir ce détroit. Et comme l'a dit le président, peut-être que ça ne sera pas souhaité, et peut-être que ce ne sera pas nécessaire, mais en tout cas, c'est une disposition qui marque notre volonté d'aider, de soutien et notre disponibilité. Et nous sommes prêts.
Vous êtes inquiet sur les menaces de droit de douane, monsieur le président?
Non, on est là pour discuter. Il y a des accords qui ont été signés en avance.
I like the lady, the interpreter, whispering in his ear and telling him what's going on. He's like, yeah, who knows? Maybe he already speaks French because I know Melania speaks like 14 different languages. So maybe he should bring her along as an interpreter. And she'll just, I got you, Donald. I got to make sure you know what's really going on. But anyway, that's what happened thus far in the G7 that's been publicized. That was their bilateral meeting. I'm sure there'll be much more to come over the next few days. I love how he floated it in public that, hey, France, I want you to send a boat. I want you to send something to the Gulf as well, to the Strait of Hormuz, and do some protection as well. But he mentioned that in public. So what's next? What's next is there's a couple more events in France. What's next is what are they going to do with Zelensky and Putin? How are they going to get that done? What are they going to do with Bibi Netanyahu? That's probably above, obviously, Zelensky and Putin. And then, of course, watch out for Marco Rubio because I don't know what we're doing down in Cuba. who knows what's happening there? And as you've seen over the last few days, doesn't matter where he is, he can reach out and touch somebody. I'm sure the people in Venezuela, Trey de Guagua, they understood. Boom, just out of nowhere, bam, they just blew up. So who knows what's going on? The man keeps things very tight to his chest, and we'll see what happens over the next couple days. Let me check in with SV, and let's see if he's got anything right now. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's shaking, man?
I'm here with my fingers crossed because
I
I'm
see
hearing
that.
I'm hearing boom, boom, boom.
Wait a minute. I'm practicing for you. Look at the lights. Look. Power.
But it's funny when I'm sitting here and I can hear it rumbling around. I'm like, okay, just keep moving. Let the wind blow you past. By the way, I don't know if you saw any of the Weather Channel BS yesterday. We were talking about it before everything, and they said it was going to come. It was going to be torrential rainpour, and that the mosquitoes were going to be out or something.
Invasion.
Yeah, and then they showed the actual radar screen, and it looked like something out of Charlton Heston's 10 Commandments. And the entire storm just split.
Imagine that. Yeah.
It split and went around Washington.
Divine.
I was like,
that's awesome.
I got goosebumps on that one. That was definitely goosebumps.
Yeah, I wrote about it on X saying, like, where you could be a meteorologist and you could be wrong 100% of the time and still get paid. It's a great job. Great job.
Sort of
I have a couple stories.
Sort of like a pollster.
Yeah, like the honest pollster.
You could be a pollster and a weatherman at the same time. It doesn't really matter. You're just gonna either way. You're making it up. All right. So what do you got?
All right. So the first thing is to add to your whole conversation. Pretty much the first 40 minutes was clandestine. It's now a little dated. It's from an hour ago, but it's very short. So if you go up 3, that will start with the clandestine one.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up. Okay.
All right. So he basically said what is happening, what Barry's been talking about. The deep state does not care where the anti-Trump narratives come from. They will amplify it. They don't care if it comes from the pro-Iran homicide or the pro-Israel side. Any flavor of orange man bad, they will seek to use it to push their agenda. They play all sides. So true. I mean, it's what's happening.
They're just sitting there waving the wand, magician's wand, and sorcerers, they're doing all kinds of things at this point. And I know it's got to be very hard for people because they see so much. And when they see it, when I get to the Gavin Newsom thing, even when they see it, if they're not listening and they don't understand intricately, it can cause more rumors. So I'll talk about that when we get to the Gavin Newsom stuff.
Yeah, thank you for the heads up because that was one of my stories. So good, we'll skip that one.
That's a
Let's
huge
go
one.
to the Haitian story. That one is an eye opener. Not a surprise.
The Haitian story, he calls it. Well, you got two of them here. The same
it's the same thing. Eric Doherty gave a little bit more. So if you want to bring that one up for me.
What do we got here? Wow.
So what a surprise. So this happened in Florida, the great state of Florida. A Haitian national in Florida was just convicted in a healthcare fraud conspiracy involving more than $58 million in false claims targeting Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurers. He will be deported. So there's some good news, but where's the money? Jean Jethro Alexandre and his fellow fraudsters used fake patients, offered them illegal kickbacks to accept fraudulent prescriptions, and then stole the money through insurance reimbursement. So what did he do with all that money? Well, he used the proceeds to buy an entire mansion near Miami, a fleet of luxury cars, including a Bentley and multiple Mercedes and multiple investment properties. At least he put the money to good use. The fraud happened under the 340B drug pricing program, which might need serious changes so this can never happen again. He will be officially deported after serving his sentence. I mean, it just keeps on coming.
I got to have Ashley look up this guy's name because that looks like there's going to be a couple properties for sale real soon.
Yes.
It's so funny, man. I never let the leads let an opportunity go by.
Yeah.
I
there you go.
When I see people get arrested or people dying, and they like, yeah, he's from XYZ city. Let me look him up because there's going to be a house that somebody needs to sell, and this guy's going to have to he's going to have to raise some money if they don't confiscate it from him. But oh my gosh,
Crazy.
so he's hold on, let me see. They've got.
They actually show a picture of the property.
Yeah.
The picture to the right. 10,291 Sweet Bay Street. Okay, that's in Miami. You could probably Google that real quick.
Hold on, let's look at Zillow. Zillow will tell me this really quick here.
10,291.
1,291. What's it called? Sweet
Bay Street, and apparently that's Miami. Let's see if it comes up.
this isn't too far from me. This is Plantation, which is a little bit south of Fort Lauderdale, and a little bit west and south of Fort Lauderdale. Wow, that's a nice house. Nice
How much?
house. Oh, I gotta call this one. Oh my gosh, I gotta show this to you. This is the kind of, I mean, there's, whenever I see these kind of deals, we've kind of progressed, I mean, moved into like a real estate thing here. But whenever I see these kind of deals, it makes my jaws drop. The first thing you see on here is, look what it says. The price has been dropped $70,000. On April 28th, they dropped the price to $70,000. So they were asking, a lot more. And let me see if it says stunning, elegant, and so it's going to be funny. This is all the stuff. But now we know this house has got to get sold. And this lady here we got to give her a call. It's a nice house, nice property here. That is beautiful.
That's really nice. So what kind of neighborhood is that in? Obviously, is that a gated community? Or is it...
That's a gorgeous house. He was living high. Oh man,
on our money. On our money, people.
And you know what the best part about it is? It's an equal opportunity thing. This guy came from Haiti, didn't know anything, and somehow he was able to take $60 million. Oh, what a country. How could anybody say
prosperity.
This? Prosperity. Dude is living in a $2.5 million house. Now he's got to sell it. Oh my God.
Hey Barry, can I get a cut? Can I get a finder's fee if you do get this? Do I get a cut?
I mean, I'm looking at this thing going, you got to be kidding me. Oh,
holy crap.
What a nice house.
Beautiful home.
This big screen back there. Yeah, he was living high on the hog here.
I like the piano too. There's a nice big piano too. I wonder if that comes with it.
That'd be cool. he played the piano.
Yeah, he'll be singing like a birdie real soon.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to save that address because that's a good one.
All right.
Oh boy, and it's on the water too. It's not a ocean access, but it's people like to look out the water and stuff. So very nice.
Are those gators? Are those gators in the bottom left? It looks like some large gators in that water.
Where he is, those where the gators can come up and actually knock on the door. They'll let you know, hey, you got any food? Cat, dog. It just doesn't really matter. But can we knock on it? But wow, how much does that say again? Hold on. Does that really say
2.4 million? Right?
No, I'm talking about what he stole. $60 million.
$60 million. Yeah. Yep. And the thing is, it's only been a few years. So I mean, that's one thing they didn't say when it started to when now. But assuming it's during Mr. Potato Head's auto pen rule.
They must be honing in on something right now. There must be maybe somebody in the government, they've nabbed them. And because all of a sudden we're seeing a lot of these arrests for multi-million dollars from people who probably, couldn't tie a shoe and didn't have any laces. And now they're sitting in $1 million houses driving Bentleys and unbelievable.
Well, the first paragraph says they're targeting Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurers, and that is what JD Vance and his fraud group was focusing on. So obviously, they're definitely getting down to the gnat's ass, and they're starting to catch a lot of this that's gone unchecked for many years. I mean, I'm sure this is not going to be the last one we're going to hear about.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
And Barry will cover the Gavin Newsom because his depends are going to be filling up real soon too.
That is going that's going to be up next, because what a stunning story that is. Here, before I go, I'll talk to you after we cover it, and that way we can all decide what exactly is going on with it, because I think I got a lot of questions myself, so we'll bring it up. Where I got to do? What am I doing here next? All right, SV, talk to you in a second.
All right,
or a couple of minutes. All right, everybody. Rumble Wallet. By the way, yesterday, we tried to do as much as we could with the show and show the fight, and Paramount just said, no, we don't want anybody showing it. So it wasn't Rumble's fault. It was Paramount. And I have a stinking suspicion that it was somebody else. I want to confirm it before I tell you. SV, I sent it to him. I sent it to Ashley. I got an email right during the show, and it was really interesting who this email was from, which I'm going to, do a little bit more investigating today, and I'll let you guys know tomorrow. But it wasn't Rumble. It was supposedly Paramount, but we'll see. In any event, Rumble Wallet, it is one of the sponsors in today's show. So quick question. How much control do you really have over your money right now? Technology has absolutely changed everything, and now it's changing how money actually works. Crypto started as a niche, but now it's going mainstream. Faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen. This isn't hype anymore. It's just where things are going. And getting started today is easier than you think. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin and hold dollar-backed stable coins all in one place. It's a non-custodial crypto wallet, which means it's not a bank or a platform. You control access to your funds. Setup is simple. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your debit card, credit card, or bank account and be set up and running in minutes. And for a limited time, you can start your wallet with just $10 in U.S. stable coin by downloading the Rumble Wallet and entering my exclusive promo code right there on the screen, Barry10, when you sign up right now. You can even use your Rumble Wallet to support your favorite Rumble creators. So do this now. Scan the QR code, click the link in the description, or go to wallet.rumble.com/Barry and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, enter your promo code Barry10 to get your $10 in U.S. stablecoin. And this is a limited time offer. So act now, take control of your money, get started with Rumble Wallet today. Terms and conditions apply. See the description below the video or visit rumble.com/promo official rules for details. All right, we will be back in, I think it's like 2 minutes here.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham. Breaking news into the Fanfare newsfeed.
So something is happening in California. I'm pretty sure because of everything that happened with the election, we're starting to see a bunch of stuff now come out. Before I get you to the big breaking news, I want to play this for you that came out about an hour ago, actually. Listen to this.
Posting this, I am proud to be teaming up with Karen Bass's brother in suing his sister for her reckless negligence that led to the destruction of our homes. I hope their Thanksgiving dinner isn't too meaning awkward. I know ours hasn't been the same since last year, end quote. Matt Finn's got the story live in LA. And Matt, this is an interesting twist post-election. Hello to you.
Hey, Bill, it is. Mayor Karen Bass's brother is suing the city of LA, and his sister is currently running for re-election here. Kenneth Bass and his wife Cindy say their Malibu home with a pool, putting green, and ocean views was destroyed by fire under Karen Bass's watch. The 186-page lawsuit argues in part that LA's Department of Water and Power did not provide water pressure to fight last year's fires. Spencer Pratt posted online that he's teaming up with Bass's brother and suing for negligence.
Okay. This movie's going crazy. I could never sit down at a table and write this script. It makes absolutely no sense, but I can't wait to get more popcorn because I'm having to now look at some stuff that's happening in California. This is getting real juicy. I'm thinking the people in California royally messed up. In fact, I'm wondering if the people in California weren't part of some sort of honeypot, some sort of big trap, because so much of this stuff is coming together so fast that you have to wonder, Karen Bass's brother is working with Spencer Pratt? I don't know how you even come up with this.
We've reached out to Pratt to clarify if he's actually talked with the mayor's brother or if Pratt simply means they're teamed up in the fight for settlements. Pratt also posted online a short while ago, we Palisades fire victims are now in the discovery phase of our lawsuit against the state of California and the city of LA. Over the next weeks, you'll finally learn shocking details of how badly Karen and Newsom screwed our town, and they haven't done anything to change. No more lies. Now, Mayor Bass has publicly spoken about her brother's home burning and her office right.
All right, so if you notice the last part of what he said, he tied Newsom, the governor, in with Karen Bass. I found that to be very, very interesting in his post that he put up there today. Here, let's look at this again.
No more lies.
Okay.
Now, Mayor Bass has publicly.
Let me rewind it. I want you to see this. He says, over the next weeks, you'll finally learn shocking details of how badly Karen and Newsom screwed our town, and they haven't done anything to change. No more lies. He tied Newsom into this. All right, so what makes that so compelling is what happened today. And this one completely shocked me.
In recent days, federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one. They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process.
That's not true. That's why I wanted to point out to you how they work so well and with their forked tongues and how they say things, because if you don't know, or you just would think that they're going after him, that he has said it that way for a reason, so that the libtards out there will keep amplifying the story. Like SV showed you with clandestine, and he's like, they're going to do everything to amplify a narrative. Now he's in trouble. And so he's saying they're coming after me just looking for a crime. Can you believe at this point that Gavin Newsom is actually crying victim? I mean, he's crying. He cried victim. He put out a video saying they're coming to get me and my wife. They're going to put me on a hit list. Trump directed the DOJ to come after me, which he has no confirmation whatsoever. That's all made up. Then he says they haven't found a single crime. They are simply trying to find one. Oh, give me a break, Gavin. Seriously, enough with the drama. Poor little Gavin all of a sudden. It's me. They're coming after me, your great governor, who turned California into a national embarrassment. Now he plays the persecuted hero? Seriously? Because he's thinking about running for president? Give me a break. Good luck with that. This is classic Democrat projection. They spent years weaponizing the DOJ against President Trump. Now they scream bloody murder when it happens to one of their own. Newsom whines about it. As you just heard him say, they're trying to find a crime. Well, if you don't know how the investigations work, if you don't know how grand juries work, that sounds like somebody who's playing a victim who's trying to tell you this is out of the ordinary. Now, let's talk about that for a second, because Newsom is trying to make it sound dirty. Can a grand jury be used to, quote, find a crime? Absolutely effing yes. That's what grand juries do. That is literally their job. Grand juries investigate allegations. They hear evidence. People bring them evidence, whether it be a state attorney or a federal attorney. They bring in the evidence in secret. Witnesses testify. Once they get subpoenaed, documents get subpoenaed. Then they decide if there's probable cause of a crime. But it doesn't happen where it's just like they're just going to throw up their hands and let's go after Gavin. No, it's like we're going to convene a grand jury. We're going to look at what's going on. We're going to take testimony from witnesses, and then we will determine whether or not it's got enough probable cause to go after. So if you don't know that, if you don't know that the process works in that way, then of course it sounds like, oh, they're just picking on me. They're just trying to invent crimes, which is not true.
Through years and years of random documents, Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president, because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit.
That's not a crime. You can tweet anything you want. There's nobody coming after you because of what you tweeted. They're coming after you, if they are coming after you, is because they feel that there's some sort of corruption case involved, possibly public fraud, self-dealing, influence peddling. Newsom knows this. He just doesn't like it when the spotlight turns on him. California, under Gavin Newsom, has been an empire of fraud. Billions, as you know, spent on homelessness, and they have more homeless people than ever. Tens of billions. All the stuff that's going on with the hospices that Dr. Oz and others have found, Nick Shirley, with almost nothing to show for it. The bridge to nowhere, the train to nowhere. All of these things, nobody has ever looked in and go, where's the gazillion dollars that you spent? Federal prosecutors are now calling him the king of fraud. His own former chief of staff was indicted on fraud charges. How much you want to bet that person's squeaking like a wheel? How much you want to bet his former chief of staff is one of the witnesses for the grand jury? Bank fraud, wire fraud, campaign money abuse. And then, of course, the jabademic money. That's not conspiracy theory. There's nothing there they're trying to, invent. They probably already have enough for a federal indictment. The only way you were able to get away with it is that Biden was in office, and then before that, they probably held Trump's hands and wouldn't let him come after you. But now the investigators are looking. And here's where it gets really interesting. I don't know how he ever thought he was going to get away with this, but they're looking at his wife as well.
Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history. He's turned the levers of government into his own personal power ministries to reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents. His personal attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies. Ask Jerome Powell. Sent them after James Comey, Trish James, Adam Schiff. He sent them after Tim Walz, and a woman that a jury found Donald Trump had sexually abused. One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly join that list.
Notice what he didn't say there. Instead of telling the public, especially the people in California, instead of bending over backwards and telling the people of California, I didn't do anything. Nope, you're talking because Trump's doing it. By the way, John Bolton indicted. James Comey indicted. Crime doesn't have an association that says only people who are my friends, should we look at. Of course, he's going to go after enemies, especially with what you people have done. Excuse me. Now his wife, this is coming up. His wife got millions. I mean, millions. She had something called the Representation Project. Her name is Jennifer Seibel Newsom, and her production company has taken millions from that nonprofit. Millions. Salary, fees, donors include companies that do big business in the state who have contracts with the government. Folks, that's the kind of things that grand juries love to look at. All kinds of possible self-dealing, all kinds of conflicts of interest. And Newsom keeps saying we have nothing to hide. Then fine. That's absolutely fine. By the way, we're not even getting to the voter stuff yet. Why did you sign all those different laws that blocks federal agents from accessing the voter rolls? Why do you not even want people to look? If you got nothing to hide, open it up. And now you see where the tie-in comes in with Spencer Pratt. Because now you got to have some sort of a victim here. Well, all the theft from the federal dollars would be, the victim would be the government. But now you've got an individual who could be levying charges. But the key is going to be his wife here. He knows it.
After calling for my arrest last year, Donald Trump directed his Department of Justice to investigate me. And just in the last week, I've learned that his campaign has reached my own home. To get me, he's coming after my wife, Jen, a public servant, a woman who's dedicated her life to supporting women and girls.
That's what he's worried about. I mean, I will commend him. Any husband that puts his wife in harm's way like this should really start feeling the heat. He knows what he did here. And here's what's going to happen as they begin squeezing him and her. At some point, the deal's going to get cut. And as a man, if there's something that's been done, you are now going to have to fall on the sword to make sure your wife is okay. You got her into it. You moved all this funny money into her nonprofit. Somehow, people with contracts with California, you were giving the money to her nonprofit, millions. Yes, she is culpable too, if this is exactly how it worked. But you're gonna have to do something here. When they went after Trump, they used the exact same thing. They used grand juries, they used special counsels, they raided his home. They used crazy legal theories no one had ever used before. They twisted the law to actually find crimes, and the media cheered it on. Now the same people are outraged that real corruption in California might finally get looked at, and these hypocrites, my name is Democrat equals I am a hypocrite, are freaking out because the walls are closing in on so many different fronts at this point. President Trump is doing exactly what he promised. You remember.
When I get back into the Oval Office, I will totally obliterate the deep state. They will be obliterated.
Obliterate the deep state. Drain the swamp. One of the problems I have, especially after this last weekend, I'm going to say this, and it might tick some of you off. I never want to hear, I will probably block anybody that comes on my Twitter profile, or if I see them in a YouTube chat, if I hear any more people say, when I see it, I'll believe it. Because if you haven't seen enough in the last couple of months to see that the obliteration train is revving up, I can't help you. I can't help you if you haven't seen. We can go all the way to the kids being found, to now Gavin Newsom possibly being indicted. And you keep saying, I'll believe it when I see it. No, it's happening. It's right in front of your eyes. He's going after the people. When I say he, it's not really he, but his Department of Justice is going after the people who treated this country like their personal ATM. They took your money, and Gavin Newsom is one of them.
Someone who has done nothing wrong other than having the temerity to advocate for what she believes in. If they can't intimidate me, they'll go after the mother of our children. Donald Trump picked the wrong target. We have nothing to hide. His political operatives can take every record and read every page, but they'll be looking in the wrong place. Because if they really want to find corruption, look no further than 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Donald Trump is selling the presidency. He's running the largest cash heist in American political history, trading foreign tariff relief for approval of his golf courses. Day trading behind the resolute.
If you know, that's SV, that noise. If you notice, he put this entire video together to go after Trump. It's kind of weird that you would spend your entire video, instead of talking about your wife and you and what you have or haven't done, you're talking about Trump. Why are you using your time instead of doing something to, show people you didn't do anything? Just saying you didn't do anything isn't enough. So now we're seeing all this stuff is beginning to compound onto California. I got to believe a lot of it has to do with the voter stuff. And they know they can't do anything with the voter registrations and the way they did everything because they all voted it into law. So what do? You find another way to squeeze these people as hard as you can. Gavin Newsom is one of them. You ruined California. You got high taxes, out of control spending, streets full of tents and needles, businesses fleeing your state, people leaving in droves. That's who this guy is. And now he wants to run for president, and he's mad because, Trump or the DOJ is coming after him.
Desk, reaping hundreds of millions of dollars in personal profit. And he's doing it openly. He's doing it on camera. He did it last night on the White House lawn. He's doing it through crypto.
I'm sorry. What the hell does a UFC fight have to do with your grift? See, now that he's publicly come out, now that he's told everybody that I'm under investigation, people are starting to peel back the onion layers and say, I remember, I got some information for you. I don't know who this woman is, but SV just sent it to me. Her name is Jennifer Van Lear. Jennifer Van Lear, let me see who she is. She's an investigative journalist, because the regular journalists don't do anything, for Red State. All right, so she says, maybe they're investigating you because your finances don't add up, or because your wife's LLC received a deed to a $9 million home a week before the LLC was even created. That's real estate fraud. How did you get the deed to an LLC that didn't exist? While you still had your Fair Oaks home, how was that LLC capitalized? And here's her previous tweet. Do this math with me regarding Gavin Newsom's income. 1.4 million yearly income, 450 in federal state taxes, 200K paid to domestic workers, 150K in private school tuition, 200K in property taxes, 20,000 at least in utilities. Okay, we're down to 1 million. Now add 120,000 per year in mortgage payments for the Sacramento house and 506,000 per year in mortgage payments for the new house, which is his in-laws had to guarantee. And that's not including food, clothes, entertainment, sports for 4 kids. That financial disclosure doesn't show any of the large amounts of assets, and Gavin can't sell assets out of the blind trust anyway, which is where the bulk of his assets are. If the trustee sells assets, the proceeds have to remain in trust while he's in office, i.e., to put a subtitle, his goose is cooked. if this is what an investigative reporter can find publicly, then there's no telling what investigators who are doing things with subpoenas and everything else are going to find.
Currencies. He's doing it through the receipt of a $400 million private jet from a foreign government that he plans to keep when he leaves office. Through his son's ventures in countries where his own administration is simultaneously making policy. His personal fortune has skyrocketed by $4 billion since.
This isn't a Donald Trump expose. This is about you. Now all this stuff is coming out. You don't need to be spending any time talking about President Trump. You don't care. You don't need to do anything with him. This lady is putting all your business out in the street. She goes, a mortgage calculator for the new house without property taxes, payments would be $42,000 a month. And she just goes on and on. Home is in the name of an LLC his wife and her parents are members of. Her parents had to personally guarantee the mortgage as well, which has a primary residence clause, as does the Fair Oaks home that Jennifer Newsom's name is on. Now you got Bill Pulte. Now you got Scott Turner. You've considered your home to be a primary residence, but you got two primary residences. That's called mortgage fraud. Down she goes further. 6.5 million at 6.75% is a hefty mortgage plus the $116 a year property taxes just for that one home. He's in deep poo-poo. Deservedly so. The chickens have finally come home to roost for Gavin Newsom. The country is watching. They're not buying this victimhood act. Newsom isn't on some sort of hit list. He's on the accountability list, the same list every corrupt politician will soon be on, or should be soon be on, whether the Democrat or Republican. But right now, the biggest swamp creatures happen to be wearing blue suits. Trump isn't backing down, and neither should we. Folks, this is what real justice looks like. You won't believe it until you see it. You're seeing it. You're actually seeing it happen right now. This isn't some sort of lawfare. This isn't some political persecution. They're finally going after people who looted the system for years. Gavin Newsom can cry all he wants and blame Trump, but the investigation, it's happening. It's actually happening.
Making his return to office. This is the behavior of a regime, not a republic. The White House has become a marketplace for sneakers and coins and watches, cologne, guitars, Bibles, and phones. Influence for sale, access for sale. And today, my family and I can personally confirm that justice is for sale.
Oh my gosh, you spent all this time. We still have another minute of him crying instead of him saying, I didn't do it. You can come look at my finances, see everything I've done. Nope, none of that. I need to get the orcs all tuned up. The orcs need to get out there and attack MAGA because MAGA is coming after Gavin Newsom. This is going to be fun because you have to realize this is just the opening act. This story is absolutely just getting started.
To Donald Trump, who I know is watching because he watches everything, I have a message for you. You can subpoena my records. You can investigate me. You can harass me. Put my name on every and any enemy's list you have, but leave my wife and family out.
No deal. Sorry, I remember, you remember them kicking in the doors in Mar-a-Lago and going through Melania's underwear drawer. No, nobody's off limits, especially not your wife, especially not the woman who somehow got $9 million house in an LLC that wasn't even created, especially not her. There's no way. She's dead in the middle of all this. And so now you're trying to be, the saving grace of a husband, and it's too late. You put her in all this peril. You can come after me. Just take her off don't go after her. That's not how it works. That's not how it's going to work. Pretty soon, one of you two, more likely her, is going to try to save her own ass. She doesn't want to go to jail for what you've done. And so I'm loving this because I'm just thinking about how things are getting cranked down all over the place. And did these people never think it was coming? That's the other part I don't get. The arrogance, the cockiness to think we could steal unimpeded, we could steal elections, and nobody's ever going to be able to do anything. Well, we might not be able to go through and penetrate that sham of a law that you did, but now we're going to come after everybody in your circle because we know you're dirty, and now you leave us with no choice. We tried to do it the easy way, and I'm speaking from a position of like Todd Blanche. We tried. We wanted to go and do it this way, but you won't let us. SB just sent me something else. This is very interesting here. Things are really heating up. SV sent me this. Just in, there are multiple DOJ investigations related to California Governor Gavin Newsom, and he just came out panicking. One of them is related to his wife, Jennifer, and her taxes, per Daily Wire. Another investigation started under Biden into Newsom's chief of staff. Bring it. Make sure you go and get some Orville Redenbacher because the popcorn is, you're going to need some.
Personal vendetta. I'd like to say something to my wife. These times are not normal. They're not ordinary. I love you, and I'm sorry he's doing this. You have not earned a single one of the indignities that he's trying to inflict on you.
Too late. No, too late. Boy, if this was Robin, I love you. No, nothing to do with I love you. I'm not going to jail, okay? I'm not doing it. So if they come to me and they ask me to put my hand on the Bible and say, what's going on? Your goose is cooked. You did this. You had this $9 million property. I didn't have it. You shoved all this millions of dollars into my nonprofit. I didn't know these donors. You did it. It's absolutely insane. Your goose is cooked, bro. Cooked.
Our children. And to Donald Trump, this country does not belong to you. It does not belong to your cronies. And we're going to fight your lawlessness. And we're going to continue to remind the people of this country of your corruption. That same corruption our founders warned us against as we move to celebrate our 250th anniversary. I'm going to keep reminding Americans of what they warned would happen if a man with no character ever held the office of presidency. So let me say it again. Mr. President, come after me. I'm not going anywhere. And the country is watching.
You're going to get what you asked for. I don't think anybody, I'm sure Todd Blanche, I'm sure none of these people looked at that and said, we're not stopping. We're just getting started. We're coming for you. And by the way, you pissed off Spencer Pratt and many people in California. Now you stole the election and you hid behind this ironclad law of BS. And now we're having to do what we have to do. You could do the magnanimous thing and resign. You could open up the books. You could have done all this stuff. And now you want to fight? Understand, now that they're coming after you criminally, you're not going to have much of a fight. They're going to be able to subpoena documents. You're going to have to provide them. They're going to be able to look in your bank accounts. I would hate for Scott Bessent to be able to start digging in and looking at transactions. You're about to feel the full weight of the federal government on your head. And there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. So all of you guys watching from afar and looking at this now you may be seeing your vindication for that crazy, insane law that they put in place in California. 2 weeks ago when all this stuff was happening and I was like, there's nothing you can do with that law. I didn't know they were already impaneling a grand jury to go the other way around. Obviously, he didn't think they were coming around this side either. Now, those of you in California who are wondering, what can we do? Now you know what's about to happen. It might take a little bit longer, It might not be as satisfying as having Spencer Pratt win, but nonetheless, you may get a bigger prize. We may get Steve Hilton in there. Who knows? But something is happening. So you never have to say, I'll see it when I believe it, because you're seeing it right now. And you saw it with him. Can't wait. Can't wait. I love it.
Hey,
you love it?
Yeah, I just received this future soundbite from the future about Gavin Newsom. In prison. Poor guy. Woo!
No wonder he's hanging out with Hunter Biden all of a sudden.
Oh gosh, you gotta love karma. It eventually catches up, you know?
You know, it's funny, when I was doing those stories on California and people were getting pissed, I'm like, hold on, that ain't gonna work. Okay, we're not gonna be able to do that. That's gonna take forever to try and break a law. When I say break a law, I meant like break the law that they put in place.
Right.
But it seems like they've decided they're going a different route to get to the same conclusion, which I don't see how they can stop it now. You know, especially if it's a grand jury. You know, the old saying that you can indict a ham sandwich. Okay, maybe that's
somebody
true.
said that earlier.
Yeah,
Yes.
but at least it's
You
going
know
to shine all kinds of light. And I don't know if you noticed, but Mark Wayne Mullen, I think I might have it tomorrow. They asked him point blank, were you going to have ICE agents at the polls? And he wouldn't deny it. So they got to be freaking out at this point. Absolutely,
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely
that
losing.
4.5 minutes of his rant. I mean, it was all Trump derangement syndrome. It was just a rant about Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like the folks saying, you know, they're going to sue Trump for, you know, talking about Michelle. He didn't say it. He didn't say anything. Like, these people, they're just, woo.
Yeah, man. So what do you got for me? You got something here?
All right, I do have a story. So from Eric Doherty about John Thune. Oh boy. So just in 25 minutes ago, John Thune tells President Trump, no, they won't attach the Save America Act to the FISA bill as Trump requested because it's unrealistic. At every possible opportunity, the Save America Act gets stalled and blocked. It got 50 votes on the floor, nuke the filibuster so J.D. Vance can swoop in and break the tie. I mean, what is going on with this guy? I mean, yeah.
Well,
somebody get to him? Is he a hostage somewhere or what? I mean,
I don't know why he's fighting so hard. I think it's an inevitability. I think hey, maybe we'll see an investigation into John Thune soon. You know, who knows? But
I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah, Trump's endorsements are like almost spotless. So if he's looking for re-election, that's not probably going to happen.
Unreal. So much is happening that you have to step back. Well, you don't have to. You can do what you want. But people, I think you need to step back and just look at the, like, you know, you play poker. You got to look at the cards. Yeah. You got to look at what's on the deck, and you got to think what somebody is holding, and you just have to look. You just can't do because you're never going to see it. I mean, you're going to walk into a streak. You know, it's crazy, but you have to.
Well, I mean, the receipts that Jennifer investigated, I just followed her because I'm gonna you know, look forward to all the things she shows up in the next couple of weeks. But I mean, the math doesn't add up. I mean, if this were me, I'd be like turning off my phone. I'm like ready to get out of here. Like this is like open and shut. Like you said, it's fraud. It's real estate fraud. Right?
The problem right now, and I could almost see it in his face, is by the time it's sort of like the iceberg that the Titanic hit. By the time you hit that iceberg, you've missed everything below the water. If they're sharing with you now that, hey, listen, you're under indictment. You're under investigation. You and your wife. At that point, you're gonna poop your pants and figure out what have they already dug up, because now they feel comfortable telling you, yeah, you're under investigation, and you're like, oh, did they You take it, throw that in the pool,
Right.
right away, and you start looking around and they bug my house or anything. You're done at that point. What? Hey, honey, did the exterminator come by? Was it the same guy? No, it was another guy. Oh God!
Yeah. Oh boy.
You start feeling like Ray Liotta and Goodfellas because you don't know what they know at this point. You don't know if
Yeah.
your phone's been tapped, and especially if it's your wife. She's just driving around in her Bentley thinking everything's cool. She has no idea
boy.
she may be followed. They may be watching her transactions. Good luck.
Well, one thing I see different between Newsom and Waltz physically, because poker tells. Waltz showed he has a lot of fear being projected. Newsom, he's acting like he's Teflon Don. Like, I mean, he's crossed his leg a strange way, and he's not very smart as he says, but he must have something. I mean, he seems very confident that they have nothing on him, but
I'll tell you what he's got. He's got other people. So if if you look at somebody like Gavin Newsom, he is never going to do time in a jail. So if it gets to a point, and Trump really wants to obliterate the deep state, just give me something. What do you got? And he starts, naming names and stuff. Who knows how far? Like I said, these people aren't the people. There's got to be people behind the scenes that are doing all this stuff. Obama, he wasn't as clever to orchestrate the nuclear stuff in Iran. And this guy, who knows where the hundreds of millions of dollars went? Who'd it go to? Yeah. And the other side of the coin you have to start wondering is, if you did some funny stuff, they may not want you walking around anymore because you know too much.
Oops. Yeah. Yeah. This is a TV show, the movie. I'm following it, man.
I can't write this, man. This is just too much. It's absolutely crazy.
I mean, a lot these liberals, I mean, even the common theme I see is that they're not very bright. They have so many dangling ends that people are going to eventually find, And the whole thing, it all started, they did not expect Trump to win. They thought he was going to be unalive. And that's the thing. So now, they're running through their bunkers. They're sending the money to Somalia. I mean, I'm still waiting to hear about Omar Ilhan. Like, is she the next one? I mean.
Yeah, it's coming.
So all right. There's a lot of that.
You got anything else?
No, that's all I have for now. Nothing on True Social.
Well, I got I got a couple things I'll cover from earlier True Social, and I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Sounds good.
Silver and gold are going to be under attack. You guys at this point know it. So you understand what is the most essential asset in your life is one you don't own. I'm talking about silver. The world's the industrial world is running out of it. Despite all of this stuff, it's going to come back to the point where we have to have silver. AI, which President Trump keeps talking about, demands that we have silver. The U.S. government recently designated silver a critical mineral. Why? Because you can't build a single solar panel, electric vehicle, or modern computer without it. You definitely can't do AI without it. So for 5 straight years, we've used more silver than we can possibly mine. For those of you who took economics, that is complete supply and demand. Unlike paper money, producers can't just print more silver to meet this exploding demand. This isn't just a shiny metal. It's a matter of national security, and you're seeing it right now, how it goes down when the oil goes up. It's all being manipulated. Get your information. Do your research. Don't get caught flat-footed. It definitely is a matter of national security and economic survival. That's why experts see it hitting $150 an ounce, and Bank of America, they said it could climb up to $300 by the end of this year. Think about it. If the industries to power the world need it, if you need it to do everything with AI that President Trump is talking about, with these data centers and everything else, then you know this is a temporary thing, and you see it every other day. But you're going to have to do your own research. I personally own it. I continue to buy because I can tell where that puck is headed. So call my friends at Lear Capital, give them 10 minutes, and they'll help you get started today, or give them a call tomorrow, rather, 800-601-5430, 800-601-5430, or go to learberry.com and download a free silver report. And then read that report and start understanding what's going on in the market, because it's volatile, but there's a stability that has to be in place because they just can't make any more. And now after this whole thing, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't even tell you if it wasn't true. After this Iran thing is done, bada bing, bada boom, it's gonna explode. Yeah, that was taped. I'm gonna have to retape it because it actually did happen. It did happen today. Let me check here as we're at the end of the day where we are with everything. Let me hit refresh. Let's go ahead and check the markets. Everything is closed at this point. Where do we end up? All right, so we ended up climbs 450 points for a record close as oil tumbles on potential Iranian deal. S&P, big up. NASDAQ, really big up. Everything is looking good. Silver pricing, where are we here? Let me refresh and see if it's the same. Okay, went up 3% today. Let's see where gold ended up. And we were at 2.18, pretty much stayed the same. All right, so everything is looking coming up roses for the economy. I hope you are in a position to grab yourself some stuff with it. All right, so let's talk about last night. Let's talk about the UFC 250 at the White House. Amazing event. Absolutely amazing event. President Trump spoke about it. He says this: the UFC at the White House last night was incredible. The weather was scheduled to be horrendous, and it turned out to be perfect. So much for weather predicting. The fighters were outstanding. Bo Nickel, Justin Gaethje, Cyril Gane, Sean O'Malley, and Josh Hokett. We got to talk about Josh here, too. Mauricio Ruffy and Diego Lopes were all unbelievable. Most people have never seen anything like that kind of human speed and power before. The White House has never looked more beautiful. The setting was unsurpassed. Congratulations to Dana White and his unbelievable UFC, one of the most exciting days in the history of our fabled White House. And I just love this picture. This picture was taken during the actual flyover. I don't know who took this picture. It's uncredited, but it's phenomenal as well. Zach Brown Band was singing the national anthem, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that people would even have a problem with that. Look at that picture. That picture is the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds both did the flyover right there at the White House, and people were upset. Seriously? What a freaking night. Last night on the South Lawn of the White House, President Donald J. Trump threw the greatest sports spectacle this country has seen in years, UFC Freedom 250. Booming, loud, American, real men, real fights, patriots packed in. I believe there was like 85,000 people out at the Ellipse, and of course the arena itself had about 4,000 or 5,000 people. And everybody there was cheering for freedom. It was massive success. It was a roaring success. Huge crowds, huge energy. And the Democrats, they have no answer. None. Zero. Zip. Nada. They're done. It's over. There's nothing they can do. I'm going to show you some of their response, which is just mind-numbing. You're like, you got to be kidding me. This is what you're doing as a response? And all they could muster was their usual vitriol and a lame little counter-protest. That's it. A handful of songs, handful of folks singing songs, Bette Midler, like it was some sad retirement home talent show. That's not opposition. That's pathetic. Now, let me tell you something. Every Trump supporter out there, especially you great Americans in your golden years, you boomers, the backbone of this MAGA movement, their whining means absolutely nothing. You have to let it deflect and let it bounce right off you, because at this point, here's what's important. Ignore them. Once you get to the point where I am and you realize we are never unifying again. Only way we unify is, excuse me, is with God's intervention. I don't want to have anything to do with these people. I don't want to know them. I don't want to engage with them. I don't want to answer their tweets. I am completely at the point of right now, F them. Go F yourself. Don't care. Don't care whatsoever. But it's funny because I want to share this with you because I'm sure this is representative of more than just a few people.
The derogatory slur made about the former First Lady Michelle Obama, because I think it's important to address. And we won't dignify what was said by repeating it, but you should look it up. And I think the reason that it's important is because for a long time, and the roots are in slavery, Black women.
The roots are in slavery. That's all you got. A massive event with nearly 100,000 people. I don't even know how many different fights there were. Let's say there were 10 fights. You had the Marine band singing. You had congressmen and senators and business people. And Dana White put on a fantastic card, great event. And the only thing you can talk about this morning was what Josh said in regards to, you know, some certain woman named Michelle looks like a man. Heck, no, he didn't say she looks like. He said he is. And that's the news today for the Democrats. That's it. That's all they care about. Oh my gosh, how could you possibly talk about Michelle Obama? I don't know. Maybe because I've been called coon. I've been called sellout. I've been called traitor to my race. I've been called House N. I can keep going on. Obviously, we've all been called deplorable. We're racists. We're Nazis. We're homophobes. We're xenophobes. But that's okay, right? You can just let that roll off your tongue.
Have been slurred and made to feel that they were unattractive, made to feel that they were masculine, made to feel that they were, they didn't have the femininity that a white woman would have. And so there's this intersectionality between racism and sexism that was on full display at the White House.
I'm tired of your isms. You can take your isms and put them up your other ism. We're not playing that anymore. It now bounces right off. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I think there are so many Americans right now who are becoming oblivious and completely indifferent to what you guys think. Maybe we shouldn't do that. It would hurt their feelings. Screw your feelings. I hope you're to the point right now where what you saw yesterday was a fantastic looking event. People were having a time of their lives on the White House. It didn't denigrate. There weren't transformers running around with fake boobies hanging out. There wasn't anybody bent over in Congress taking it, up the pooper. None of that stuff. See, it bothers you that real men were fighting. It bothers you that testosterone was on display. Real masculinity. Not that toxic stuff, because to you, everything a man does is toxic. You don't think a man should be doing anything. We saw what real America looks like last night. We saw what, beyond America, we saw international fighters. It was like, you guys should have been happy. It was like the most awesome DEI event I ever seen. But it wasn't DEI because they did earn it. They didn't just get appointed to be fighters. Those people from other countries that got the fight in that fight, they earned their way there. They made a ton of money, and God knows I wouldn't want to get beat like some of those guys got beat. You looked at strong, unapologetic men and an audience that had the time of their life. Remember what fun is? Do you remember I don't think Democrats remember what fun is anymore. The left can't stand it. The left can't meme. They hate us making fun of things. Oh, I can't believe he called her. He said that about her. What are you going to hang him? You want to execute him? They scream and they cry because young men are flocking to this. See, they had a problem in the last couple of elections because young men were going away from the Democrats. What do you think young men did when they saw that. Some of them might not even been MAGA. Some of them might not have been Republicans. But real masculinity was on display. Competition, honor, no DEI. The Democrats' own policies have driven young men away from them for years. With their woke nonsense, their toxic masculinity lectures, their endless guilt trips. And last night, that counter protest. I hope a lot of guys didn't see what you guys put out there. I hope a lot of guys didn't see Harry Sisson crying. Good job, libs. Keep it up.
The crowd laughed at the statement, and the President of the United States smirked, and never addressed what was said.
Why would the President of the United States address what was said? He didn't say it. And what were you going to address? You're going to come out. I think Dana White came out and denounced it. Hey, listen, we don't want to, we don't want to be like that. So it's up each his own. And even she said, well, people laughed. Yeah, it's called a joke. But they didn't take it that way.
All you do when you bring the Obamas up is remind people of what is currently missing from the White House. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm pretty sure everybody here says thank you. It reminds us what's no longer in the White House. You think that's a bad thing, Charlemagne? That's not a bad thing. We are ecstatic that they're no longer in the White House. When you bring up the Obamas, it makes us feel like, whew, thank God they're not in the White House. Remember what she said, or he said, whatever way you want to go, all this for an effing flag? Yes, all this for an effing flag. Now you got it.
You see, the Obamas set a standard for decency and class and poise and intelligence in the White House, okay?
Class? Seriously, do you want to go class? What part of Obama's entire presidency did you find to be classy? What part of Obama's entire presidency did you find intelligent because he could read a teleprompter really well? Wasn't like he wrote the speeches. But at the same time, I'm watching President Trump go out and take questions anywhere in the world. Doesn't need to be managed. And I'm also watching him get things done. Kamala would have been a complete nightmare.
That no longer exists now, all right? You didn't have to agree with the Obamas politically to recognize that they were a masterclass in dignity, all right? Truly grace under fire. Now that bar is in hell, okay? Satan.
Okay, so he's trying to basically recover. He's trying to get the people who listen to him to realize, oh, that was a cardinal sin, which that boxer, that UFC fighter should be executed from, because he dared speak about the grand Obamas. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe he said that. How could you possibly say anything negative about her? You see, they couldn't let it go by without their usual manufactured grievance outrage. Just because Josh Hockett, after a big win, looked into the camera and said it, Michelle Obama is a man, am I right, America, and people started clapping, that was made them more pissed off. The fact that other people in the audience were like, ha ha, the left lost their minds. They're whining, they're complaining, they're calling it disgusting, they're demanding apologies. Let me ask you, after years of you being called, I can't even count all the names. Deplorables, Nazis, fascist, racist, homophobes, pedo protector, and calling us threats to democracy. Now they're upset because a fighter made a joke in a ring? Come on, man, seriously. You called us, whether we're black or white, all names you possibly could come up with. Your hypocrisy is thicker than a McDonald's shake after it has too much ice cream in it. You ever have tried to take one of those? No, it's like a friendly fribble. You spent a decade dehumanizing half the country, and now this half of the country doesn't care anymore. We're done. It literally is something we're just wiping off. We no longer care. Not going to go back there. We don't want to go back there. We're done with you. Go on your microphone and talk to your minions. Do whatever you need to do. But understand, the other half of this country is looking straight at you and going, I don't give a crap. I no longer care about your feelings. F your feelings. As Elon said, go F yourself. This is the national crisis all of a sudden because it's falling on deaf ears and nobody's listening. Well, you made us have these deaf ears because we remember. We remember Hillary's basket of deplorables. We remember Biden calling MAGA supporters, do you guys remember this? Garbage. We remember the endless smears. So no, we don't care what you think anymore, not even this much. And if you happen to care what other people think, then you may not be ready for this maximum warfare.
And his demons use that bar to limbo. They got that bar down there and they cha-cha sliding to it. You hear me? How low can they go? Can they go down low all the way to the floor? How low can they go? Can they bring?
As low as it takes. You see, I'm not shying away from it anymore. This country is maybe hopelessly divided. It's most assuredly deeply divided. And after everything that you people have done, it's doubtful that we'll unite anytime soon. And you know what? And this is what gets really interesting. I hope you, like me, are fine with that. I don't care. I don't listen to your show. I don't go where you go. I don't hang out with who you hang out with. I don't need your approval. I don't need your unity. We have our own America. It was on display last night. That's the America I want on display. The one that loves freedom, loves strength, loves winning. Last night proved that. The UFC event wasn't just fights in an octagon. It was a statement. It wasn't bread and circuses. Bread and circuses was to placate people. If you go back and look at your history books and find out about the Romans and how they used bread and circuses to feed you and entertain you, to keep you from knowing what the hell was going on, this is completely the opposite. This was to celebrate you. To say in a definitive statement that America is back, that Trump is back, that MAGA is back, and the people who built this country, especially you boomers like me, you hardworking patriots, you're not going anywhere. And it also said you still know how to have fun. You still know how to relax. What was very interesting to me was like so many people hadn't seen MMA fighting before. And it sucks that Paramount shut it down, but many of you went and looked for it and found it on Paramount yourself. And it was really interesting because I got some texts from people like, man, I didn't realize it was that kind of a thing. That was like nasty. I loved it. It was raw. I mean, I don't know if you stayed up and saw the last fight, but these two guys went at it. And he hit him with a knee in his side. I felt my ribs crack. He hit him so hard. I literally went, "Ooh, that must have hurt." And the guy's face was all dismangled and everything. And I was looking at Rob and I'm like, I wonder how many people saw this and went, because that was raw. Those of you who didn't get sick, you were energized. You were fired up. You're like, well, give me another one. Give me another one of these fights. And the whole time we were going through the card, the left's temper tantrums were getting worse.
To the top? No, they can't. Okay, the bottom is their ceiling. And people like Josh Hokit remind us of that every chance they get. See, this event was supposed to be celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Okay, the Declaration of Independence asserts that all people are created equal.
He's on the roll.
And possess unalienable rights, okay, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This was a reminder that Josh Hokit and people like Josh Hokit don't look at black people as equal, okay?
You see, that's where they're wrong. Didn't matter that Michelle Obama was black because that's their only defense. Josh Hokett did not say that Michelle Obama, that black woman, is actually a black man. He didn't say that. You said it. He didn't say, you know what, you guys got it wrong. She's black, and so I know she is a he. Didn't say it. Didn't matter color. They had to rely on color. The last two people, her and Sonny, they immediately went right back to their ace in the hole. Racism. It's racism because you're not allowed to talk about black people. If it had been a white woman in there or a white transformer, they wouldn't even be talking about it. They don't care. The fact of the matter is what they have to do, and their marching orders right now is to make sure you stir up the blackies. You better make sure that they realize that was racism. That's their only thing they have. That's it. They have to keep stoking those fires. It wasn't about racism. Nobody brought up race. Who brought up race? You did, Charlemagne.
It's really that simple. This was his way of marginalizing the First Lady and trying to remind us all they don't see us as equals. And life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is for them, not us. Okay?
So let me prove to you that he's lying. Let me prove to you that I'm telling you the truth. This man is in a sport where the other people in this sport want to knock your block off. They want to destroy you. They want to see you in pain. They will do anything if they have to break an arm. Many of these guys are black. See, what he didn't say was the guy that he beat was a huge, huge black guy. The guy calls himself the Black Beast. Monster of a man. Like 6'5", 260 pounds, and he beat the crap out of him. And then they hugged afterwards. I don't know how you do that. After somebody pound me in the face or kick me in the head, the last thing I want to do is hug you. But anyway, they hug each other. He's going to face other black fighters. If the other black fighters thought he was a racist, would they want to fight him? Would they want him included on the next card? No, they wouldn't. So you're full of crap here. You're not landing any punches with this.
Country has been trying to dehumanize black people forever. Every few years, somebody comes and dusts off the same tired playbook and introduces it to a new generation. But my brothers and sisters,
the same tired playbook is exactly what the Democrats do. You don't have any other playbook. It's not every couple years. It's been the go-to platform for 60 years. Everything is about race. You see, what they can't take is that real Americans were watching these guys, these warriors, battle it out on the White House lawn. We were watching. The Democrats, you know what I found funny? I even posted this on Twitter, is for people who didn't care about the event, y'all surely watched it. Why would that be? Why did you tune in when you supposedly hate Trump and hated that this event was on the White House lawn? Why did you use your time? Why did you spend any time watching this? You see, you're out there with your sad little signs, your aging activists, their celebrity concerts that nobody watched. Total cringe, as the kids say. One video after another showing their counter event looking like a sparsely attended book club. Meanwhile, the Octagon was rocking. The White House lawn was rocking. Fighters giving it everything with black, white, and Hispanic people, Asian people, all in the audience. All. Trump in the front row, loving every single minute of it with Melania. That's the contrast. If you just remember that vision and understand, there was no division yesterday. There was no division in the vision you saw. There were just all kinds of people having fun. If you call it getting beat up fun, but they had fun as well. Just the walkouts from the White House. It was like amazing. They're walking out of the White House, going to the ring. Didn't matter if they were Republicans and or Democrats. They were just there to put on a show. Yet when you guys do shows like Springsteen and others, all you do is spend 15 or 20 minutes of the show talking about how bad Trump is, how bad MAGA is, how bad life is, how bad people can't eat, people can't buy groceries. It's tiring. It's absolutely tiring. It's exhausting. Nobody wants to hear your crap anymore.
Don't let ignorance dehumanize us, okay? Since some of us came to this country, they have been trying to question our humanity, our intelligence, our beauty, and I guess now, even our gender. But don't ever allow somebody else's foolishness, okay, to make you internalize their lies, okay?
Yeah, you're again, I'll agree with you. Never, ever let anybody make you internalize their lies. See, if everybody watching here and everybody in MAGA does that, there is no Democrat Party. If we all make sure not to internalize any of the crap that you people say, none of your weak scolding, none of your joyless alternatives, no wonder young men are running away the other way. Democrats have become the party of scolding, the party of sit down, shut up, and apologize for existing. And oh, by the way, everybody is racist. You see, I don't know who came up with this idea, but the UFC was better than a concert because it was multicultural. You can't take that. There's no other way you can take it. If you watched it last night, you're like, okay, this is brutal. But I'm looking at black guys. I'm looking at white guys. I'm looking at Spanish guys who stood up, fought hard. And by the way, maybe you guys didn't see it, but almost every single person that won celebrated, one, America, and number two, God. Oh, they did what? They were telling. There was one Spanish guy from Brazil, and Robin and I are sitting there watching after the fight, and he could barely speak English, but he could speak his this proselytization completely. He goes, "You gotta love Jesus." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, it's kryptonite for the left." But young men got it. They see through. They understand what they were being shown. And then you get the left's lame counter protests. It's not just failing, it's backfiring on them spectacularly. And they're alienating the next generation even further. I hope they just keep doing it.
Never let anybody else's foolishness make you internalize their lies, okay? Never let anybody else's prejudice become your self-image, all right? Black people have survived way too much to let conspiracy theories and stereotypes define us, okay? Their dehumanization is their sickness, not our identity.
You know what was funny? After the fight, let me see if I could find what I posted, because it was pretty interesting to me when I said about the actual event, that it would be more important and more, I would think, influencing in the Black community and in Democrat community if you just shut up and acknowledge that it was a good event. That's it. Just don't talk about it. End it right there. And here's what I wrote. I wrote this, and I said, if Democrats were smart, they would just call this event a success and not embarrass themselves further to 1 billion people worldwide. Just, hey, it was a good event. It was a good event, good fighting. It was a great celebration, and move on to your next fight, per se. Move on to the next argument. You're not going to win this one. That one, you can't win. And then what was really funny is I saw my next tweet was little time after that. I go, he read my last tweet, Stephen A. Smith. And it says here, got to be honest, this UFC event at the White House looks spectacular. This is a big time show. I'm not there, and we all know all the complaints folks had about renovations and around the White House. But to be fair, this is some impressive stuff I'm looking at. Props. See, smart people who are your adversary know when to fight, know when to step off. I can't win this argument. It was a fantastic event. It looks awesome. There's no way I can fight this. The ones who are trying to fight this, they look dumb. He was celebrating America. He was celebrating strength. He was celebrating masculinity. He's building a movement. Don't step into that trap. Nod and go, that was pretty good. But the other Democrats, as you just saw, they couldn't do it. They fell hook, line, and sinker. They walked right into that bear trap. And after he posted this, Stephen A. Smith, he did this on his own show on ESPN this morning to underscore it.
It was a great, great event that was put forth by the UFC at the White House in concert with the White House or whatever. It did a hell of a job. I thoroughly enjoyed it. How was it?
Now understand, ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, carnival barker that he is, that's a statement. He understands there's a lot of black people who watch him. He understands that a lot of black people are pissed off because somebody called Michelle Obama a man. And he's like, not going there right now. Maybe he might post something later, but he's like, yeah, it was a great event. Not my fight. This isn't a fight I want to have. And the other young black man said this.
4,000-seat arena. I got to be honest, coming off the NBA Finals, where I was at multiple NBA Finals, better event than NBA Finals. Wow. It was a better event than NBA Finals. But the White House literally being right there, incredible.
They can't beat that. There's nothing you can say when you know you've been beaten. And these guys were both, one was an athlete. The other one was a star player at Duke. He also played for the Chicago Bulls. You know when to pick your battle. This battle isn't going to work. America was celebrating America last night. And anything you do to try and go against that makes you look completely idiotic. And I think that's what the message is moving forward and why we need to keep going with it. And we need to ignore all this Michelle Obama business and everything the left is saying because it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter because of this.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
It's so true. We're winning. To me, that's the best thing to take from yesterday is that we're winning. We are actually winning this thing. And they can't, there's no response. There's nothing they can do. When's the last time you felt like in this situation, like, really? The only people messing with us, like SV said, is our own people. John Thune, dude, do it. We're on a roll here. The man's got the momentum. Keep going. Oh, I don't feel like doing it. They can't stop you. Only you are stopping you. It's disgusting to me. What do you got, man? Anything? I mean, because these people.
I have a story for you. People say Homeland Security isn't working too hard, but I posted it on X, your account there.
Let me pull it up.
By Allie Bradley. She is a person I follow. She's a senior immigration correspondent for News Nation.
I got it.
So,
hold on. Okay.
So this goes to show that, the fight continues. It's happening all over, but they're not stopping, just like what's going on with those tunnels going from Mexico to San Diego. So here we go. Human smuggling stash house busted in El Paso. Border Patrol and Homeland Security agents disrupted a stash house in El Paso, arresting 12 illegal immigrants from Mexico and Guatemala, including an unaccompanied minor. Acting on intelligence from a previous smuggling investigation, agents located the residence on May 27th and found 11 adults and one unaccompanied child inside. The adults were charged with federal immigration violations while the minor was processed separately. Jesse Munez praised the operation, saying Border Patrol's human smuggling disrupt units and HSI partners are continuing to dismantle criminal smuggling organizations operating in the region. The investigation remains ongoing. And you see a picture of, well, they don't show their faces, but yeah, it's a seedy looking bunch.
Again, if you're saying I don't see it, you're not looking. I mean, I think we really have to encourage, our own people here you got to look for stuff. And thank you for like finding this stuff and digging it up, because I don't think enough people see what the heck is going on,
Yeah, these are just small operations. I'm sure in California, where there are probably a lot of illegals, a lot of this is happening as well. So I'm gonna,
See, that's what the problem is because the media won't talk about it. So when people say, I'll believe it when I see it, it's not going to just jump up in front of you and blow a horn. You have to actually go look for it, because they're not allowing you to see it. They definitely don't want you to see it. So it becomes problematic in that regard. And you have to seek out certain news. And so somebody had asked me before, who do you follow and things like that. I think we'll share a list and that other people can who to look for. Obviously, the number one person is President Trump. That'd be the first person I would follow.
Yeah.
That way,
I got queued up.
If he doesn't, excuse me. Oh, by the way, not sure if you saw this. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this in.
Okay.
Okay. He's talking about June 24th, and he says Wednesday, June 24th, will be the kickoff of our summer-long celebration of 250 years of American independence, which is, I thought yesterday was the kickoff, but now June 24th is going to be the kickoff. And what's it goes? Beautiful music from our talented U.S. Army and Marine Corps military band. Only the hits that you know and love. The highly gifted Macchio. That's the opera singer.
Yes.
I wonder if he'll sing Nessun Dorma.
Oh.
And our friend Lee Greenwood, who I had on the show yesterday, performing the greatest hit of all time, God Bless the USA. Also, he doesn't mention in here, but also on the bill will be, he was on Fox a little while ago, Vanilla Ice is still playing. You also bear witness to impressive military flyovers featuring precision fighter jets and stealth bombers, which will be flown by our U.S. military pilots, who have proven to be the most elite pilots anywhere in the world. This patriotic tribute will take place on the main stage at the Freedom 250 Great American State Fair, located on the majestic National Mall in what is now one of the safest cities in the world. See you at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, June 24th. So looks like we got a rally of sorts. Ooh, did I just break some news I wasn't supposed to? Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's break a whole bunch of news. So we got the June 24th news. Okay, that's going to be thing. And then he just announced as well, not just announced, early this morning, he announced this. On July 4th, the Lincoln Memorial and Washington Monument is beautiful and safe, Washington, D.C. We are going to host the most spectacular Trump rally of them all. A tribute to America starting at 7 p.m. Celebration will honor our country's people, spirit, strength, resolve, and triumphs. 300 members of the military bands, and on and on. What else is in here? There will also be incredible flyovers, air shows featuring our top military pilots. And to conclude the program and commence the historic occasion, I will be launching what will be the largest fireworks show in history right here in our nation's capital. Do not miss it. See you on July 4th. So he's got a whole bunch of events planned. They're going to be pushing this stuff. Yeah. And if certain entertainers don't want to come, don't care.
That's going to be fire.
Yeah,
that's gonna be fire.
Just ignore them. There'll be another 100,000 people there too. So I think we got a lot of stuff in store.
Now I do have something. It's a sad story. Have you heard about the B-52 Stratoforce?
Yeah.
So I just sent you the story. It's been an update. Unfortunately, 8 crew members were reported killed in that crash at Edwards Air Force Base.
Do they know what caused it yet?
Not yet, but yeah, the scene, that thing just totally vaporized. I mean, I don't believe that I know they can eject, but I don't think they had time to eject. It just went down because that thing is like a small football field flying. It's huge.
When you're seeing that kind of smoke, you have to wonder what was inside of it.
Yeah.
That dark
so
black.
Prayers up for the families affected by this. It's
all 8 of them. All 8, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Wow, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. Unbelievable. All right, let me I don't know if I have time. I do have time for one more quick story, I think. Yeah, I'll do that. So let me go ahead and do that.
Have a great evening, folks.
You ain't going nowhere yet.
Oh, I'm not? Okay. I thought I was out.
He's like, I'm out of here. Bye. I'm done. Oh my gosh. Gonna leave me here to fend for myself. He's like, I'm done. By the way, Ashley, my grandson, her son, is up at West Point today. He got invited to go to West Point, and I got a beautiful picture of him on the field and at the football stadium. So he's, pray for her. She's going to be driving from there. Then tomorrow he's got to visit at Navy. So he's at Army today, and then they're going to Annapolis tomorrow. He's going to be visiting with their football team. So a lot going on in Ashley World, in case you guys wonder why she wasn't here. Hey, let me tell you about Chapter. A lot of you guys have already signed up, and you're not signing up with Chapter, but you've been working with them. See, Medicare is confusing. And as someone who turned 65 myself last year, I can confirm this. Keeping track of enrollment periods, understanding all your options, and making sure you're on the right plan takes too much time and energy. And between Medicare scams, corrupt agents, and bloated insurance companies, it's easy to make mistakes that can cost you thousands. That's why I'm happy I called Chapter and have been working with them. They're actually honest and the only Medicare advisor that looks at every plan nationwide, helping people save an average of $1,100 a year. People are relieved when they get to talk to Chapter and spend that 15 or 20 minutes to actually find out what they can offer you. That's all it's going to take, 15 or 20 minutes, and you'll be all set. These guys won't push you to buy a plan you don't want, and their support is completely free. So if you're turning 65 soon or have questions about your Medicare coverage, call them at 475-328-3545 to get the most out of Medicare. Most people wish they just called sooner. Or you can go to askchapter.org/Barry. All right, I'll be back in 90 seconds.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
No man should ever enter where we are going. Beware what lurks in the depths of the libtard zone.
All right, so this is a special presentation of the libtard zone. Special presentation. It's absolutely kooky crazy. And it's not a whole bunch, but I wanted to show you some of the insane stuff that was going on at their counter protest and a couple other things as well.
Number 10.
This weekend will mark a brand new low for America in the eyes of the world.
I got to stop you right there. This is going to be the worst thing ever. It's going to suck so bad, and the whole world feels the same way. She gonna cry? I'm serious.
Also marks a new low for Donald Trump and his now well-documented record of showing disrespect and glee for destroying the country's most iconic and historic symbols and pretty much everything the country has stood for. Trump is hosting a tragically tacky UFC cage match.
These people are so full of themselves. It's awful. It's so bad. And I have to have that affected voice. You know, that voice they do when they sound like, what do they call it? Vocal forcing? I don't forget what it's called, but it's crazy. It's the most tacky, incredibly crazy thing ever.
On a massive stage that he constructed on the south lawn of the White House. We've reported that here on this show. Late today, a federal judge is allowing the fight to proceed. Tonight, Donald Trump is kicking things off with a UFC press event, and tomorrow an official weigh-in where the fighters have to get on a scale, I guess, to make sure.
You lost me right there. It's funny. I see people here like, I'm just going to have to mute her. Why? Enjoy it. Laugh. I don't get it when people are like, I can't even hear this. Number one, you should, like President Trump has said many times, listen to what your adversary is saying. Thank you, SV. It's called vocal fry. And the other thing is enjoy their misery. That's the only reason I show this to you, not to bother you, not to upset you, but to enjoy the complete misery of these people.
They make weight, and that'll happen in front of the Lincoln Memorial, the site of Martin Luther King Jr.'s iconic I Have a Dream speech in one of our nation's most hallowed and storied and visited locations. Bill Kristol writes this in the Bulwark today about Trump's UFC fight, quote, I do think it's an event that captures something about this moment in our history. After all, it's vulgar. It is violent.
It's vulgar. Dude, I know you must squat to pee. This is Bill Kristol is writing this. After all, it's an ugly, vulgar, violent. So it's everything that your little squat to pee boy can't even do.
It is commercial. It's grandiose. It's tacky. And it dishonors a place once thought worthy of care and respect. In other words, it's Donald Trump. I want to bring in staff writer.
They can't even help themselves. They're miserable, beyond words.
9. Beautiful. It's so good to be here tonight with so many of my, hello everyone. So many of my friends and comrades. Let's go. My name is Claire Valdez. I'm a union organizer. I'm a proud Democratic Socialist.
Did you ever think in your life that we would hear organizer and socialist as a career opportunity? Now, what I found funny, this is the event that they did in, the anti-Trump protest. What I found, with this Democrat socialist, commie, is that she's celebrating this with some of the richest people in the country. De Niro, Bette Midler, Julia Roberts. You're celebrating, hoping for socialism, but somehow you brought in some of the biggest billionaires and millionaires in the country to go ahead and, as long as you're talking bad about Trump, their money's okay.
And I've been a member of New York City DSA for 7 years. And when I first joined, we had one socialist in office, Julia Salazar. Shout out Julia. And now we have 9 socialists in office, and we just elected a Democratic socialist, Zohran Mamdani, to be our mayor of New York City.
Well, they're happy that they've now elected 9 socialists. Well, I don't know where they are in different parts of the country, but this is insane. I never thought I would ever see the time when we would have people at a meeting or a protest cheering socialism while bringing in rich people.
Number 8.
Yeah. If you think people in this room are radical, you should listen to a 75-year-old named Gertrude who's out there and wants to basically criminalize being a Republican.
They're cheering, criminalize being a Republican. I don't know what they call MAGA. We'd be like arch enemies of the state. If they want to criminalize Republicans, they definitely want to get rid of us. We don't even deserve to have air.
Number 7.
And that's the other thing. I understand. I could give you the fact that you bring Bette Midler in. I could give you the fact that you might bring De Niro in. But why do y'all have to sing? And then you don't even sing like, it's not like they're doing YMCA. It's not like they're doing God Bless USA. Somebody's just writing stuff down and they're trying to put music to it.
No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. Not this time. No one is getting left behind this time. How do we?
I had to see it. You have to see it. You may laugh. You may laugh. This is insane that they have these people. Here's this one guy behind it. Look at the one guy. He's got the shirt on that says, liberation, not deportation. Yeah, you got it, man. You ain't take a bath. How about liberate some soap? These people are absolutely insane. They have votes, but they're never coming back.
Together or never get there at all.
Number 6.
I've had the honor of meeting with 10 absolutely precious children.
This woman scares me. What's her name? Miss Rachel. And she's come up with this shtick where she likes to talk to kids. And I'm like, something just rubs me the wrong way about her. I wouldn't let none of my kids sit next to Miss Rachel. I don't like the entire thing that she does. Even when she's talking amongst adults, she's got kids next to her.
Who, and their wonderful families, who have been locked in Dilley Immigration Detention Center in Texas. One minute, I talked to a 9-year-old about how we both love pizza and soccer, and how he won the spelling bee and wanted to get to the state spelling bee, and the next minute he was begging for help to get out of what we know is a family prison. A prison that is neglecting, abusing, and traumatizing kids. As the American Academy...
How sick is that she's doing this with kids standing next to her? The indoctrination that these people don't care about people. They try to tell you they care about people, but all they care about is obviously power. And the power that they get is by indoctrinating these little kids. And this little girl standing next to her doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, but she talks like that, so it sounds innocent. But it's not a family prison. It is an illegal alien detention center. And by the way, they have their own keys to their prison cell. They can just get out.
Pediatrics says there is no safe amount of time for a child to be in detention.
Well, maybe you should tell that to the parents. Maybe you should say, listen, they're going to snatch you up and you're going to bring in your kids in there. And that's not someplace, the doctors have said any time in detention is bad for your kids. So maybe you need to get on the jet and go back to Mexico. That would be an easy solution.
Dilley Immigration Detention Center must be shut down. We need to end the cruel policies of family detention and family separation.
Number 5.
When the governor of Texas clicked his little boot spurs and had all the rainbow crosswalks painted over, activists grabbed their brushes and painted the sidewalks instead.
Yeah, this is their counter round. I just want you to understand what you're watching here. Let me just make sure you're clear with the big transformer behind them with the fake movies. Across the way, there is a MMA fight where every person in it is looking to knock the block off the other guy in the ring, except for the referee. They are manly, and there's 100,000 people there to watch these guys use fists and feet and destroy the person going up against them. And you have a counter rally with that. You definitely don't want men voting for you. Well, certain kind, huh?
Because that's what we do. It goes to show if you lower our flags, we will raise them back up, baby.
Yes, honey.
You can paint over our rainbows.
I think these white people in the audience thought they were going to go hear Bette Midler sing. What time does Bette Midler come on? Because I didn't know this was going to happen. Nobody told me when they brought the bus over from the home that I'd have to look at that stuff. I thought Bette Midler was coming to sing.
But we'll paint an even brighter one to lead the way.
Number 4.
Which is to talk about Renee Nicole Good. Yeah.
You ever notice when they show her, they never show her what she looked like when the incident happened. Never will they show the, how can I say this without getting in trouble? You know, the cropped hair, the militant looking, you know, from the island of Lesbo. They don't show that picture. They show her picture where she took a glamour shot. They never show reality. It's always an illusion. And so the woman talking right now, in case you don't recognize her, that's none other than Julia Roberts.
Renee Nicole Good is not a symbol. She is an American woman, a queer woman who is doing the very best she could do to be good in an unjust world. Yeah. And I am honored to celebrate her life and her legacy tonight because the life she gave is our responsibility to carry. And I am so grateful and honored to the poet Amanda Gorman for writing these beautiful words that I am allowed to share with you now. And it is with her blessing that I do so. This poem is entitled For Renee Nicole Good. They say she is no more, that her absence roars, blood blown like a rose, iced wheels flinched and froze. Now bare riot of candles, dark fury of flowers, pure howling of hymns. If for
now understand, this is a counter rally to an MMA fight. I feel for the guys in the audience. They're like, wait a second. I could be home watching Paramount. I could be watching guys knock the snot out of each other. And I'm hearing this? Who? This is supposed to be a counter protest. I thought you'd have some sort of event. But you got Julia Roberts reading a poem.
Us, she arose somewhere in the pitched deep of our grief, crouches our power. The howl where we begin straining upon the edge of the crooked crater of the worst of what we've been. Change is only possible and all the greater when the labor and bitter anger of our neighbors is moved by the love and better angels of our nature. What they call death and void, we know is breath and voice. In the end, gorgeously endures our enormity. You could believe.
I have no idea what the hell she's saying. I'm just showing you so you guys can like have some sort of comedic relief because they brought in a A-list actress to talk on a stage and they gave her this this dirt crazy poem to read about a woman who tried to run over an ICE agent and then got dealt with.
Leave departed to be the dawn when the blank night has so long stood. But our bright fled angels will never be fully gone when they forever are so fiercely good.
Good script. Good script. Yeah, good script. Okay.
Number 3.
Right?
Later, the letter stated regard.
Wow, bro. It took you. You're an actor. You were an A-list actor. And it took you that long to try and go through one line on your teleprompter. That should tell everybody what's going on with Robert De Niro. You're done. They're done. They got nothing. Nothing.
Of our political affiliation or whether we engage in politics or not, we all love our country. Still with me? Not so fast. The phrase, we all love our country, stuck in my throat. Because our country isn't so lovable right now. I hate to say it, but loving our country is starting to sound like an abused spouse saying they love their abuser.
See, the problem I have with this is you're equating your love for your country with Trump. You see, when Obama was president, I still loved my country. When Clinton was president, I still loved my country. It didn't have anything to do, my affiliation as an American, what I wanted to see for this country never changes. I want this country to be the best country on earth. I want Americans to have prosperity. It doesn't change because there's a certain president in office. And you're telling everybody on this stage, I can't even be an American. You don't even want to love the country. You hate Trump so much.
I can't love a country that starts stupid and inhumane wars. Killing thousands of innocents and indirectly causing the deaths and suffering of millions more. I can't love a country that takes health care away from millions of people and uses...
Notice he said people, right back to the talking point, people, not Americans.
That money to enrich their pals in the Trump-Epstein class. I can't love a country that sends out masked militias to shoot citizens in the streets, torture our neighbors, and separate families. I can't love a country that's led by a racist, misogynist, xenophobic tyrant.
Okay, so he's a racist, xenophobic, and you're mad because a fighter said something about Michelle Obama. You understand the hypocrisy here, why we're never coming back together? For them, it's okay. It's warranted. You're a pedo. You're a xenophobe. You're everything. She's a man. Oh, oh my God. You can't. They don't even understand. Well, I guess we can say they understand because they keep saying Nazis are bad, but then they're all right behind the Nazi in Maine. They can't keep up with their own BS.
And let me just say it. I can't love the country that's led by Donald Trump and a sycophant Congress. For most of my life, of course, I did love this country, the United States of America. Welcomed my immigrant ancestors. It gave me, my family, and my fellow citizens such rich opportunities and extraordinary freedoms. I want to love my country again. I want my country back.
If you notice, most of the people, that's probably why they didn't turn the lights up too right. Most of the people aren't clapping. I'm pretty sure they thought they were going to a Bette Midler concert. I'm pretty sure they said, yeah, Bette Midler is going to be performing. And so right now, as you're sitting watching this, you're feeling what they probably felt. This is awful. Why am I spending any time watching this? Can we get to Bette Midler? I want to hear Bette Midler sing.
That's why I stand with the Committee for the First Amendment. And you, all of you. Together we rise up, we sing out, we keep organizing, and we fall in love again. Thank you.
2.
I mean, having been here all weekend.
All right, so CNN decides they're going to go to the UFC fight. They're actually going to show up. They're going to get access into the ring. They're going to see what's going on, and they can't even believe what they're seeing.
Talking to people from the Lincoln Memorial on Friday night, where they had the ceremonial press conference. Obviously, here at the Ellipse last night, there was the ceremonial weigh-in, and of course tonight we're going to have the big fight. It's been a very surreal weekend here in Washington D.C. I mean, you know, this feels like a UFC event, right? And nobody here is really talking politics.
See, they liked it. Hey, you know, it's a surreal. I walked into something I didn't know was going to be like this. People are actually having fun. It doesn't feel political. It wasn't supposed to be political. You guys made it political.
MAGA hats even. This does not feel like a political event. It might feel, I think, a little differently at the VIP zone, where I'm sure we'll have a lot of MAGA personalities and things. But in terms of, you know, people watching at home, and many people think it's disgraceful for all of this to be happening in Washington, D.C. For the fans of the UFC, they are absolutely delighted. This is a dream come true for them. But
See, they went there to hopefully denigrate it, and they couldn't believe that we're actually having fun. People are happy. They're laughing. Everybody remember laughter? Yeah, you saw it on display last night. So now I want to close. Probably you've seen this. In case you haven't seen it, gird your loins. This was the headliner of their counter protest. It's only 25 seconds long.
Number 1.
Oh, you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Hey there, all you fascists. Let me put you straight. When you come for the rest of us, we'll fight you at the gate and you will lose. You fascists bound to lose.
Now, Wind Beneath My Wings. None of the hit songs. Some kind of song called Fascists Are Gonna Lose. You brought Bette Midler out of mothballs for that. And that was their counter protest. And so I think as we close tonight, you guys don't have anything to worry about. You don't have to wonder if you're gonna have to see it before you believe it. That's all they got. That's it. That was their counter protest. No big speakers, reading poems for dead people, singing some kind of crazy song, celebrating communism, and then bringing out the LGBTQ thing. That's it. That's their platform. If you stayed this far, you now know that is the heart of the Democrat platform. They want illegals, they want LGBTQ, and that's about it. So I think yesterday pretty much just pushed all our chips in. Just ignore these people. Ignore them. Laugh at them. Enjoy. They are like comedians. And they're wandering aimlessly at this point because they have nothing to offer anybody. Nobody wants to be around that crap. Fascists got to lose. I don't even know what the hell she was saying. SV, can you tell me what the heck?
Oh my God. So I'm going to end with a little humor. So you once said that Barack Obama follows you. Is that still correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 stories from the
hold
bottom.
on. Let me, because people have wondered. Let me see if I could. He may not now because I said his wife or whatever.
Oh boy.
Hold on. Let me look and see if it's still that way.
All right.
They might unfollow pretty quickly now. Hold on. I gotta just go back to my other profile here.
We're fact checking. Stand by, folks.
Yeah, he still follows me. Hold on. Let me bring it over so you guys can see it on the screen here. Can you see it? Can you see it? Oh, there we go.
Yes, I can.
All right,
Yes, I
there's
can.
Barack Obama, and as you can
Big
see,
Mike.
it says follows you.
Follows you. Okay.
So, yes, Barack Obama, for some reason, what's he got? 119 million followers, but he's only got 500,000 people he's following. And he decided he was going to follow me. I'm
So you know, he's
surprised.
got his Obama presidential library starting up, right? So he posted an hour ago. Now, don't post the bottom story first. Do the second one up from the bottom, which is from Barack Obama. Post that one first.
What the hell is that?
So yeah, apparently he had some Nigerian-born artists to unveil their first portrait together. So this piece reflects many chapters of Michelle and my story. And we're thrilled that will be on display in the Hope and Change lobby at the Obama Trash Can starting this Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
So,
What is he? Does he have the same pants that she has on a dress?
well, the photo was updated. This next story I sent you is the actual updated photo.
Oh boy.
You're gonna love this. Okay.
Who updated it?
No, it's a joke.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I love.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh man, we had to end on a humorous
Oh my
note,
gosh.
folks.
Oh my God. Oh, that's
I hope
crazy.
you don't get monetized for that, Barry. I
No,
apologize.
hey, it's art. You know, art in the eyes of the beholder type thing.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't me. It was. Whew, that was a good one. Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
How did you even find that? Oh God.
I do my research and I put together. You know how I'm doing this stuff for you, man. I'm trying to get stuff that is funny and
Oh my gosh.
It was someone in the comments, so I kind of took it and then dovetailed it in. So yeah, there you go. Big Mike. He's back. He's back.
All right.
Oh.
I'm gonna do super chats and we'll get out of here. Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
All right, everybody have a great evening.
You too. Thank you. All right, everybody. Oh, that's supposed to be me. Hold on. I gotta scroll up. There we go. It scrolled up. All right. Mrs. Honey, thank you. AJ or Al Phelps, thank you. Rebecca, thank you. Chiosop. Wait a minute. Did he SB texted me as he's leaving? Hold on. He goes, bam. No, that wasn't him. Who was that? Very quick here. Oh. Oh, Robin texted me, and she said the Bette Midler song was "You fascists are bound to lose." I hope it wasn't copyrighted. Thank you, Robin. Chiosop, BB needs to keep the wars going because the moment everything stops, he's going to need to go to trial for some corruption case the opposition has on him. Oh, I hear thunder. Oh, wow, that's interesting. I did not know that, Chio. Thank you. Chio, you're busy here. The ship the EU sent is still on its way to Iran. Okay. And Macron and his husband must feel dumb opposing Trump. Big time. Macron's wife and Big Mike went to the same doctor. So you're trying to get me in trouble. Gavin throwing Jen under the bus. He is for himself. I can't believe he said that about his wife. He must. I would love to be a fly on the wall in his house right now when she finds out she's under investigation too. Ooh. By the way, she comes from a very. I don't know if you guys have looked up her history because he's been divorced. She comes from a very well-to-do family, big money. I don't think her family would want the stain on them from an investigation. Big money family. Oh, yeah. All right. So let's hurry up before I go poof. Wow, that was a loud one. That was close. Gavin throwing shit under the buses for himself. Gavin doesn't want the heat. The hair is flammable. Thank you, Chiasop, for all those. Eric Plumer, Newsom is squealing like a pig. Yeah, he is. Tania, Barry, my husband now calls him Gavin Gruesome. Chiasop, feds told him stuff he spoke of only in private. Yeah, you imagine that if they've got if they bugged his phone or something. Wow. Pekovsky, thank you. Hey, listen, make sure you come back in as soon as you get your package so we know. They can't ruin my day. Lie. Exactly. Cheers up again. Josh Holken got millions in free publicity. Oh, yeah, he's definitely people are going to buy tickets to see him. Brian Newland, testosterone is making a comeback. Yeah, we saw it last night. The Salty Sierra. Okay, so they say it's destroying symbols of the nation. Where were they when statues all across the nation and government buildings were defaced? Bingo. Hypocrites. Steve Bankowski. Barry, I've been watching you every day since you took Trump. I'm 100% for Trump. Continued. Yes. But I'm really sad to hear that Trump secretly, through Qatar, paid the IRGC billions to look the other way while our military escorted all those oil tankers out at night. I didn't hear that. I don't know the exact details, but Trump said no cash will change hands between U.S. and Iran in this deal. That's why he did it through Qatar, credible sources. Okay, see, that's where you lose me. Excuse me. That's where you lose everybody. When you say credible sources expose this, your next post here should be who these credible sources are, because right now that really doesn't mean anything to us. I have not heard that. Obviously, you're saying it is. It's not propaganda. I have a pit in my stomach over this, and I hope it's not true. Well, if you hope it's not true, why did you consume it? That's all I'm saying. And you know, brother, I love you, and thank you very much. But that's you just exhibited exactly what I've been saying. Stop listening to idiots. And if they have credible sources, they should be able to provide you with said credible sources. Otherwise, you just fell victim and got some bait in your cheek. You got that big hook. Credible sources. I don't know. It doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, as I look at that, that's a question I would ask. Credible sources exposes. Okay, who? Who are the credible sources? How do we find out who these credible sources are? How do you find the credibility of the credible sources? And then you said, perhaps you can research this. Why would I research something you found? You should go find who these credible sources are and report back to us. I'd love to talk to you about it. But you know, I'm not going to spend my time. It's bad enough now. I'm in a doghouse for not taking out the garbage and doing certain things. So I don't have time to do all that. I'd love to feature, you know, if you find out who it is. Any event, excuse me, is that video of Newsom on X? Yes, it is. In fact, you can just go to his profile, Gavin Newsom. It's right there. It's right there on X. All right, so I see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to get out of here before the storm hits too bad. Thank you guys for tuning in.